Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Caliber Corner Season 5, episode number 248. And I've never actually used this word before to describe one of our shows, and I think it's an overused term in our industry, but it's going to get spicy today, people. All right, this might make some friends and enemies and frenemies and break up friendships and end marriages, as we're going to talk about not buying guns from certain companies because they don't support the 2A. Or do they? Or does that argument even matter anymore? Because a lot of people don't seem to care. So we're going to really take a hard look at what place should the Second Amendment have in the lives of the modern firearm companies that we support and choose to support and so on, because it seems like there's always stuff going on, always things going down, always things being said. And we just get torn one way or the other as a community as to who we are going to support or choose not to support. Whew, man, this is already an intense intro. So before we get into it, before the firestorm breaks out, let's just go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves. So off to my right, he's been putting in the overtime, people. Give it up for AWAG 1000. AWAG, how's it going? How you doing?
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it every time.
All right, man. So what you been doing? You staying busy or what?
Yeah, putting in a ton of hours, working my butt off.
You know what? As a young person, I just want to say thank you for doing that. I appreciate you doing that and contributing your part and being a responsible young adult. AWAG, I don't think I've ever told you that before. Thank you for doing that.
I pay my bills and my taxes. Contrary to as many jokes as I say about not paying taxes, I actually pay my taxes.
You know, AWAG, it's good to hear all that. As somebody I can appreciate.
You okay there, Hillbilly?
Right there, bud.
Sorry about that.
It's
all good, bro.
It's called a cough button. It's on the panel.
Sorry, I thought
we're a mucus-filled bunch this morning because we're in our 40s and 50s. All right, except for AWAG. He's like 17, 18, 19.
Dude, I'm a baby.
Yeah, but you know what? You're a hard-working one, so...
You know, I mean,
we could use more young folk like you.
The word millennial really has such a negative connotation to it associated all across the board. We need a word for people that are of AWAG's age. Let's say somebody who's 20 to 30 that's actually a responsible young adult, because I think millennial just automatically has negative connotations. We'll come up with something by the end of the episode that we can call you AWAG. I think responsible young adult is what we should use, because millennial just has images of skinny jeans and whining and complaining, which AWAG is not a part of that crowd. So let's just get that out there right
Here's
now.
what I say about complaining is it gets you nowhere and it only ruins your mood. So why even do it?
There's a quote that I heard a long time ago, or read on a Magpul poster: when you're up to your nose in the BS of life, you keep your mouth shut. So there you go.
And now you're going to hear me rant about and complain about Daniel Defense.
Okay, so I want to this is our trigger alert. So we are just playing devil's advocate here. We want to let people know we may be complaining about your favorite company because we don't think that they do enough for the Second Amendment. Now, a lot of these companies do support, like 30 gun companies actually contribute to the GOA, but they're not bragging about it on their website. So we don't really know to what extent a lot of these companies do support, these industries that are out there. But if anything, we want to create some awareness that maybe as consumers, it's time for us to step up and say, hey, how do you really feel about it? What is your take on an industry that we're paying for, that rights that allow your company to still function in this country? How do you really feel about that? And why aren't you showing us support for it? Because maybe they do, and we just don't see it. But everybody's going to have an opportunity to say whatever they want, regardless of what's going on out in the chat, right? Because that's why we're here today. This is going to be one of those gun community therapy sessions where we just let it all out, and in the end, we're all going to hug each other when we've wiped off the bruises and the scrapes, and we're all going to go hang out. So, all right. So, AWAG, appreciate you here. Let's move down south to American Hillbilly. American Hillbilly, how's it going, man? Hillbilly up or what?
Yeah, I thought I was choking on something there for a second. Doggone.
Oh man, I think that was when he mentioned something about Daniel Defense. He just started coughing up because you're like, did you rip on my DD? No, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, no, stinging allergies, man. First thing in the morning, really getting me. So
it's nasty right now, man. And you guys are all, Missouri. It's just all trees. It's 90% trees, anyways. You're just surrounded by, the pollen of life. But so, how's the channel going? Is it going good or what?
Yeah, brother. I mean, we're just doing all kind of educational stuff over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you keeping the world safe TVs. One less White Claw can at a time? Is that pretty much what it comes down to, or what?
We're trying our best to rid the world of all those hard seltzers, So
there's no place for
your
that.
buddies don't have to make
those
fun
really
of
should be
you while you're
illegal. There's
drinking them.
no need for them. They don't need to. What's the point? Why would you even want to go there? I mean, seriously, what is the? Anywho, yeah.
I'm literally getting hard seltzers in the mail. People sending them to me and saying, "Oh, please shoot this."
Oh, shoot it, not drink it. Okay, good, yes. Yeah, it's nice when they send you targets for free in the mail. So
you betcha.
All right, so give us a little teaser. I got to bug you about this every time you're on the show. What do you got coming up, man? What's new? What's in the pipeline? What are we going to be seeing here?
Well, we might do a little more cooking, on this channel, or preparing to cook, I guess.
Yeah,
with our Second Amendment. So that was a lot of fun. So we have a few more of those down the pipeline.
A little more guacamole out there. So.
Yeah, we're going to be working on a guacamole and
there
a few other things.
Yeah. Support the avocado industry. That's right. Absolutely. Wait, those are mostly imports. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, we just got to have fun over there. And we'll shout out to one of the Hillbilly Nations on here, Fut. Hey, Fut. Glad you can make it.
Yeah, Fut kind of caught me off guard there as I was reading through the comments. I was like, what did he just say? Oh, no, never mind. It's bass backwards. Never mind. We're okay. Gizzard Gary out there saying #Chiefs Kingdom.
Yeah,
so,
buddy.
I grew up watching a lot of NFL teams, and Chiefs were definitely on the roster. So,
well,
they were
I'm
definitely
just
one
going
of
to
the teams
tell you
we
right
watched.
now.
Yeah.
I'm a lifetime Chiefs fan. I didn't jump on the bandwagon yesterday. So, I mean, my entire lifetime, one Super Bowl. So,
oh yeah. And hey, being in Nebraska where we don't really have any pro teams, to speak of, not that I can think of, I'm sure there's something obvious I'm missing, but we can pretty much watch whoever we want, but it's, a lot of times it was regional broadcast when we were watching TV. So we got a lot of Chiefs games and unfortunately a lot of Broncos games as they shattered the dreams of most of the teams that I loved growing up as a child. But my distaste for John Elway is something we can discuss at a later time. Yeah. So it's just
Yeah, that's an argument for another day, huh?
Yeah. But like I said, they've got a heck of a team, the Broncos. I mean, I'm sorry, I just anywho. So so it sounds like you're staying busy, or you're coming up with some great videos and just having a good time, which is important. So
and I mean, I wish I'd known today was a argument or like a controversial deal, because I used up on my arguing with Squib last week.
Oh, well, he's got a lot more. Don't worry, it'll regenerate as the feelings flow and the true emotions come out. So today, make sure everybody's got their yoga mat, their Pilates ball. You've got your matcha tea on standby, and
I done made my avocado toast, did my goat yoga this morning. So I mean, I'm getting better.
Goat yoga, got the goat yoga. Yeah, goat yoga is very important. Just watch where you put your hands. So. Yep. Right, goat yoga. We talked about goat yoga last week.
Do not eat the raisins.
No, absolutely not. No, those are not raisins. No, they're not dates either. So or plums. All right. And then finally joining us, we got Squidload. So Squidload, are you waking up? You got your coffee? I know you said you had to step away a couple times. Are you with us, bud?
Yeah. I'll be stepping away. I'll try to BRB over here in the private chat. Just
okay.
So not that it's really relevant or whatever. If you call and I'm not there.
Well, I always forget to check the private chat. So especially if I have a tab up, I'm not going to know. But
I know as host, if you're going around the room and somebody's not there, it's kind of frustrating. So
it is what it is. We're human. Sometimes things pop up. We need coffee refills. We got to empty the bladders, whatever. So it's all
last week I had to step away because I had to get ready for work and get on the road. The night before, the shift supervisor said, "Would you be willing to come in 2 hours early?" Saturday's already a day we don't normally work, so it was 8 hours overtime. Now it turned into 10 hours overtime. And when I walked in there, he said, "I'm glad you took me up on that offer because the first shift guy never showed up." He didn't come in. The guy complains all the time, but when there's overtime opportunities, he doesn't take it. And
triple time, right? Wasn't it triple time they were offering you guys?
So that text I sent you, they were so desperate for workers on Labor Day. An hour and 10 minutes before they wanted people to come in, they sent out a company-wide message through the payroll app that everybody's supposed to have saying, "We will pay you triple time if you get in here now to work 4 hours doing inventory." They were so desperate. And I'm like, it's Labor Day afternoon. Everybody's drunk or stoned. and you're given an hour and 10 minutes notice, and some of these people drive an hour and 10 minutes one way. Nobody's coming in. I don't know if anybody, it was at another plant, it wasn't at mine, but anybody, even people like one county over at the different division of the company had the opportunity to do it. They were that desperate for work, and that was just it. So and it turned out that that Saturday was, since it was before Labor Day, and a lot of people said, we don't want to come in and work. They said, it's a Labor Day weekend, we'll pay you double time. So I got 10 hours of double time because the first shift guy is too lazy to come in and they needed to work. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't like giving up my weekend.
Nobody does. Nobody does. Because then you miss this. You miss our show. You miss our live show. So
I had to walk away, which I don't normally. I like to be at the very end. I like to say bye, Alicia, and everything else, all that. But 2 days ago when I got paid, I paid off 3 credit cards. So, take it for what it's worth. I like hanging out with you, but I like money more. I'm just going to be honest. So, yeah. So, and I mean, don't get me wrong. There are times too where it's like, hey, I got to turn down because I got prior obligations. So, it was something. That's why I can appreciate AWAG having a work ethic and putting in the time. I mean, you're tired, you're sore, you're giving up your life. I'm on 5 hours sleep again. So good thing I got some coffee here, but, so what? That's my choice. I could also sit home and bitch that I have nothing and pass up an opportunity like that. So, I guess it's that sort of, I get irritated. I give Rick crap about this all the time on his show, and he's always, throwing it right back at me. Thanks for paying my Social Security and stuff. So
I know, right? Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
That's why I got that Bitter Taxpayer channel that I really haven't done a lot with. Eventually I'll do something with it, but I'm so busy at work, honestly. I've got stuff loaded up in my studio that I film that stuff, I've got some shorts that I need to do some stuff with so I can publish them. And I literally don't have time. I might even edit a video while we're talking.
Hey, you stay on it, man. You keep putting out great content. And it's always fun to watch, and you got a great variety out there. So I can't complain. So it's good.
I don't know about that. I will tell you this.
I'll keep saying it, whether you disagree with me or not. I don't care. So that's fine.
I lost a subscriber.
We can agree to disagree that you have a good channel. That's fine.
I lost a subscriber yesterday, but that's fine with me. The subscriber was harassing me to do what they wanted, and I'm not monetized, guys. I do what I want. I do these videos for me. I mean, you caught me there when I was saying, I get drunk on screen for the audience or whatever. That was more a joke than being serious. But you did have a point there, and to some extent, I will do requests. To some extent, I will try to be considerate of the audience or things like that. But in general, when I've got somebody in the comment section saying, "Do this," I'm waiting. Come on,
that gets annoying after a while.
Make your own video. But once I
see what I can do, if they can't accept, I'll see what I can do. Then you just got to move on, so that's kind of how it is.
Once I get monetized or a sponsor or some other thing like that, then I'm beholden to the audience. And at that point, I'm going to have to either, suck it up and deal with it or whatever. And I think along those lines, it's the same thing as these gun companies that we're going to be talking about. It's you are beholden to your customers. At a certain point, your audience becomes your customers. I'm not saying that every single thing you've got to bend over backwards for them, but if I was compensated for this, I might not have lost that subscriber because I pretty much told them off in the comment section. And that's just it. When these companies do the things that we don't like as consumers or as Second Amendment advocates, when they're going to cut off their nose to spite their face, I'm okay with people picking and choosing to boycott. And I know that some people say, I don't boycott at all. It doesn't work. That's your choice. It's just like saying, I don't vote.
And part of me is like, what overall percentage of the gun buyers out there are really adamant proponents of the Second Amendment? Like,
I know.
Like our little community. It's like, and do we really matter? Especially when a lot of these companies got their police and military contracts. Does it even matter if they even acknowledge civilian firearms ownership, or just put the guns out there and say, here, buy it if you want, like H&K or some of these other companies? Now, not that those companies don't operate and do stuff and contribute on a local level. They might contribute to a charity or offer some kind of firearms safety or firearms education that we don't know about. But if I can't see it on their website, how do I know that they really support that kind of an opinion, especially where the website can have a huge impact on the consumer market? You know, oh, they're plastering the American flag over their website. They're showing how they're telling you to go out there. It's your ability and your right to own a firearm. And we support our customers and celebrate America. And you just don't get that on a lot of gun websites. And maybe these firearms companies just want to be humble. Maybe they just want to have a little link down below that says this is how we support the 2A. And then a lot of them don't say anything at all. And it might shock you who doesn't openly acknowledge a Second Amendment or let people know you have a right to bear arms. You know, now if they want to push and say it's your responsibility to do so, then that's one thing. But just even to announce to the world, hey, we support the Second Amendment. And a lot of these companies don't put that on their website. And I'm kind of curious why. So that's kind of what we're going to discuss. But
the people in our culture are always saying we don't have the resources. Oh, I know. You're supposed to talk about I'm jumping right into it. And you haven't even talked about the people joining.
We'll acknowledge the YouTube site here in just a sec. So yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So real quick, joining us on the YouTube side, we've got 500 Magnum out there. Now, M. Gabriel said, well, Smith & Wesson certainly changed their tune after their infringement compliance. So yeah, that was one of the companies that just finally said, you know what, we've had enough of this. We're done with it. This is not our problem. Guns are tools. They are what you make of them. They are what people make of them, and leave us alone. You know, it's good that finally somebody stepped up and said, you know what, and then, you know, Smith & Wesson's probably got military and police contracts out there, and they're not worried about compromising that to get out there and say, look, we are tired of being attacked by the government. I mean, first of all, you know, it's funny that the government military relies on a lot of these products, but then the politicians want to come out there and rip on these companies that are producing a product that's used to defend our country and that people use to defend themselves. But anyway, also out there, 500 Magnum, William Trader, Roll Call 219. Good morning, Roll Call. Tacos and French fries is joining in. Fut's out there, Hillbilly Up, Zinger's out there too, Squiblo. Gizzard Gary says, good morning, all. Guys, get over there and subscribe to Gizzard Gary's channel. And everybody on this panel today, make sure you get over there. Defense Dad's joining in. Defense Dad said, when I was your age, I had to walk up the hill both ways to get to the gun store. I know, right? Those cases of 1,000 rounds get heavy. Thomas Rees is out there. We got Sam of Anarchy joining in. ER's watching. Black Bear Forge is in the house. Kevin Jung is watching. Patriot in the Dark. Man, we got a full audience out there today. New York Outcast is joining in. Tony York's watching with us too. Let's see who else is out there. Anybody else? Don't want to miss anybody. X Adam 1's joining in. X Adam 1 says, I will buy any gun that I like, regardless of who made it. I like guns. I mean, and that's just it. That's part of it too, is do we not want to support this industry, even if the industry doesn't openly support us? Does it matter? That's a big question we want to ask today, because really in the end, spoiler alert, I really think it comes down to whatever person wants to do, they're going to do, and they're really not going to care, right? I mean, it's going to be important to them, but in the end, their buying decision is going to come down to what they want to do, right? Tommy Gunn's out there also watching, and Savage Lee's watching today too. We miss anybody? I think that's about it. So, all right. So let me just talk about where the topic came from, and then AWAG, are you with us? You still good, buddy? You here? All right, so we'll come back to AWAG in just a little bit. Hopefully he'll be back with his coffee and he'll be joining in, and then we're going to let him start.
I just got back with my coffee.
No, that's cool. Okay, so here's what spurred the topic, and I'm not ripping on any one particular gun tuber. I'm not ripping on the audience. I watched the Coleon Noir video on the Springfield Armory Prodigy, okay? And I like Coleon's videos. I've been a subscriber since even before, back in the day when he was just doing summaries of Walking Dead episodes, because that's kind of how he got started as a YouTuber. And I've been a sub of his for, I don't know, close to maybe 10 years now. And he's showing off the gun, and, you know, he's got his usual stylized presentation with the music and the guns running flawless, and it looks cool. And I'm, aside from the fact it's a 9mm 1911, which some people say is heresy, I really like it. And there's been a lot of neat Springfield products that have come out for the last couple of years that I've wanted to buy. And I know I could say, well, I could go buy it on the secondary market, so I'm not supporting Springfield, but I don't, okay? And so here's the thing. I'm looking in the comments, and maybe 1 out of 20 has people saying, oh, I'll never buy a Springfield product. And then there's always a reply down below. Why? Why not? What do they do? So it's only been a short 5 years, I think, or 4 years since the whole Springfield debacle came down. And we're not just going to rip on Springfield Armory today. We're going to look at all gun companies. So essentially, in a nutshell, what happened is they've got a lobbyist group that represents their company. This lobbyist group, which I believe has Springfield employees or Springfield people on their payroll, all right, negotiated a deal with some representatives of the Illinois government to drop an opposition to a bill that was going to create a firearms board that would be required to approve FFLs and also gun companies operating in the state of Illinois. So Springfield had made some negotiating to drop the opposition in order to let the bill pass through to like the next step, where I don't think it ever actually became law. I don't know. Roll call 219 out there. Maybe you can give me a little heads up. Whatever happened with that bill that got proposed. Now, whether that bill got passed or not, it was the fact that Springfield said, well, we're just looking out for ourselves. We're not going to threaten to leave the state. We're not going to threaten to put a lawsuit on the state of Illinois. We're just going to look out for us. And I think Rock River Arms was in on this also, this IMFA, Illinois Firearms Manufacturers Association lobby group. And then when that came out about what happened, people just went nuts, calling Springfield a bunch of traitors, and we're not going to buy their products. Of course, they did damage control. Springfield did the next day. Like the CEO came out and said, well, we didn't know that they were making that particular deal, even though they were on the payroll for Springfield, or Springfield gave them the money to operate the lobby group. So like half the community was just divided. There were people that said, I will never buy one again. But then there's people that say, look, it's an American industry. They support American jobs. They support the military. They're producing products that people want to buy. It's a big part of our economy, right? So that really created this rift in the community. And, and still yet to this day, Springfield still releases new products. They still sell, I don't know how many millions of dollars in product every year, and they're still selling guns. And the overwhelming majority of the comments on the Colonial Noir video are people that are excited about this gun and they want to buy this gun. And you have a younger generation of people moving into firearms now that maybe didn't know about what happened with Springfield, even though to this day, Springfield claims to be innocent about the whole process. Springfield even reached out to me and emailed me on my Springfield video that I did 5 years ago saying, you've got it all wrong. We're not guilty of anything at all. I never did contact them to talk to them about it, but that's what they say, right? So what if they really were innocent and didn't know? Then was all this hoopla about nothing? So the point is that I just thought it was ironic that Colonial Noir made a video for a company, and every other video that Colonial does is a protect the 2A video, defend the Second Amendment, you have a right to defend yourself. And he's showing off a product from a company that potentially could have made a decision that didn't support the rights of their own, the people in their own state. So that's why I'm kind of torn on the whole thing. And I wanted to bring it up. So I'm browsing the websites, and it's amazing how many gun companies based out of the US or that sell guns in the US don't openly express support and encouragement of the Second Amendment in the United States. There's no links on their website whatsoever. There's no place where they say, buy our firearms, it's the American thing to do, or celebrate the Second Amendment. Now, some companies do, okay, and a few of them that you might not like for whatever reason actually do support the 2A and the community. So it really just kind of, do we even need to care? Does it even matter if you choose not to buy that gun, or should you just get what you want because life is short and who cares anyway? And these companies are never going to change their position. Get what you want and live your life. So as a gun buyer, as somebody with a conscience, right? Many times I am torn, so I don't know which way to go. So Sam of Anarchy 92 says, so what got us on this delightful question of not buying a gun from a company that doesn't support the 2A buddy? It was just this idea that the majority of the comments in the Colonial Noir video are in support of the gun. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to buy that gun. A lot of people have already bought the Prodigy. It's kind of interesting the results people are having with it, but that's a discussion for a different time. So I don't know. To me, it's just like, do I really want to scrutinize every company that I buy from? Because I buy from Amazon. I use PayPal. They're not exactly pro 2A friendly, right? My car's not made in the USA. I mean, am I just being a total hypocrite if I'm not all about, heck, my headphones are made in China, right? So at what point as gun owners and gun consumers, do we care? Do we need to care, right? Maybe I'm making a bigger deal out of it than I can, but every time a new Springfield video comes up, I'm just like, all right, so let's go to Hillbilly. Do you want to say something real quick before I go to AWAG? What do you want to say, man?
Yeah, I was just going to say, well, you do realize that there's a lot of people in this country that they think we buy all of our guns in some outback alley in the dark, So, I mean, if that guy's from America, then, I mean, you're supporting America.
This is true.
I mean, that's where most of us get our guns, black market.
Yeah,
they think so.
Oh, yeah. No, or we make them or we're getting them from cartels, right? No. So, it is a bit crazy. All right. So AWAG, I own a Daniel Defense rifle, and I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't the American patriotism appeal of what's on Daniel Defense's website that sold me on the rifle. what sold me on the rifle was the fact that I could buy something that is like 99% identical, short of full select auto and, you know, a non-pinned welded flash hider. I could buy a gun that was virtually identical to something used by US SOCOM in the SOT mod program. That sold me on it. I want as close to an authentic combat rifle as I can possibly get, and the M4A1 was something I bought. But I mean, there's a lot of AWAG. Tell us what is it about Daniel Defense that makes you not a customer? What are they doing as a young person? What is it that pushes you away from their brand? I'm really curious. What is it? Tell us.
Well, let me get this out of the way. I like Daniel Defense's products.
Okay.
I love their quad rails. They're high quality. I built a Mark 18 from the ground up off of one of their handguards. It's just hang on.
I mean, people rip on them. Anybody calls them junk. I'm like, guys, there's a reason why US SOCOM has been using M4A1 upper since 2005. Okay. You know, it's and the people are like, oh, they're garbage or overpriced trash. It's like, do you know the lineage of that gun and where it goes? Yeah. You know, would you go call an FN M4 trash, even though it's dang near identical to the car being carried by, you know, your nephew in the Mideast, right? You know, so anyway, go ahead. Yeah. You okay there? Yeah.
Hello? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm having issues with my mic here. Hang on.
That's okay.
I know it sounds like I'm stalling right now.
No. Tommy Gunn says I bought a DD on name and reputation alone. To me, it was just the lineage of the gun, the fact that I can own something that's very similar. And the thing is, you know, we rip on these companies because we say, oh, they just care about their civilian and their military contracts, when really, you know, those contracts are what make those guns popular, and they show up in movies and video games. And then your kid knows more about an FNP 90 than you do. You know, they know how to load it and operate it and run it, even though they just do it in video games, you know. And then, you know, that gun, you know, everybody wants the gun that took out this person or that person, right? So, I mean, you can rip on the civilian military contract side, but I mean, that also kind of creates this gun hype and gun culture. You know, who wouldn't want the electric minigun that we saw in Predator, right? I mean, that was just awesome, right? So, you know, stuff like that. AY, do you want us to go to a different panelist instead?
Yeah, just for now.
Okay. Well, or are you ready? No? Okay, so Squib, where are we going with all this? Is this a pointless topic or not? What do you think? Be honest. Okay, American Hillbilly, what do you think? Is this a big deal or not?
I don't know if anybody wants to talk to you this morning, Travis.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, Squib's probably stepping away for a refill or maybe hitting the restroom. So
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'm back.
There you go. I know, man. I gotta. Okay, so what do you think, Squib?
I need like a red light.
I know we need to have like a little AFK like little symbol that pops up so I know not to call on you. So, and again, guys, this is just until you run a live podcast, you have no idea how the dynamics of the communication actually work. So if you're like, oh, they don't want to talk, no, guys, just chill. These happen. These delays happen. So.
It's just like when we talk over each other. Each one of us has a different speed internet, and we can't see each other face to face and stuff like that. So, okay, it's like this. Some of these companies announce what they do, and they shoot themselves in the foot, like Benchmade, right? They thought they were doing the right thing by saying, look, we save taxpayer dollars. Instead, they pissed off a bunch of people, right?
And they destroyed a bunch of firearms that they weren't obligated to, but could because the guns were confiscated and they couldn't possibly be resold because of laws and whatnot. So they advertised online that we're saving taxpayers by destroying a bunch of firearms, right?
And their marketing guy thought that was brilliant, and it backfired, right? Then you have other companies that hide stuff and get busted, like Springfield and Rock River Arms. Okay, that I don't care what, you know, somebody wants to say, well, they didn't know. It doesn't matter. It's your guy. If you're not that's on you. Or you could have people that just outright publicly embarrass the company, like Bill Ruger, testifying in front of Congress, right? There are people that still are mad about that, even though that happened before some of you were born. Okay.
And I didn't even know about that. And I've been doing a gun channel for years. And then somebody said, well, I'll never buy Ruger because of what Bill Ruger said. I'm like, is Bill Ruger even alive? What did he say? And when did he say it? And does that legacy still exist through the company that's running today? For some
people it does.
For some people, I know exactly. Like, we just can't let stuff go, and maybe rightfully so. Right. All right. So go on.
But I think each one of us has to make a decision on what we want to do with regard to that, or even other things. Like, I give people crap all the time about buying foreign crap, right? I give you crap about your car. I give all you guys crap about your foreign cars sometimes. And you know what's interesting is some of these foreign cars are made here in America with American labor. Sure, the money goes back to the motherland or whatever. And you know what's funny is I had a guy going round and round with me on your last car video, Travis.
Oh yeah, about
channel.
the
And he's going round and round, and the idiot has no idea that he was complaining about American auto workers and stuff like that. He has no idea that we make Ford parts right next to Toyota parts in the same factory. American labor make those parts. So everything he was saying about the domestic cars, he was literally saying about the cars him and his family drives, and he has no idea. And that's what I was trying to tell him. You're not in the industry. I'm not in the firearms industry. I'm not. I don't have an FFL. And I don't work at a gun factory or designing stuff or anything like that. So maybe there's some things that I'm going to say or some opinions I have that are in ignorance. But the reality is, whether you choose to put your money back into this country or not, whether you choose to support somebody who's pro 2A or not, whatever, that's your choice, and it's up to you. Don't be surprised if somebody gives you crap over it. Sometimes it's just us messing with each other. It seriously is. And other times we really do mean it. And some people get adamant and they get defensive. And I think that's okay because it shows they have passion. What I don't like is when somebody says, you're going to do it my way or else. It's like, you got the last person on the earth that you want to be telling that to, because
or you make a YouTube video and post it, and it's not the popular company right now that if I went out and did I even put a disclaimer in my cleaning video for my Springfield Armory 1911, not mine, but the one that was loaned to me that I cleaned in the video. And I said, okay, before we start this cleaning video, to save you, keyboard commandos down below, I'm just showing you how to clean this gun. All right. I'm not saying go out and buy it. I'm not saying it's a wonderful company. I said, there's a lot of controversy around Springfield right now. So I want to just let you know, I am just here to show you how to clean this gun. And I've had people complain, say, well, I was going to watch your video, so you put politics in it at the beginning. And I mean, they weren't there 5 years ago when that whole firestorm was going on. And I wasn't trying to come off as being a Springfield supporter, So it's ridiculous. I even had to put a disclaimer like that in the video. And you can't please everybody all the time. Obviously, some people said, hey, I appreciate letting you know I'm a Springfield owner and I didn't buy this new and I don't support the company, but great video anyway. And then there's other people who said, well, I quit watching a minute in because you threw politics in it. And I'm like, 99% of my videos don't have politics in the videos at all. I'm just like, this is how you clean this firearm. This is how you operate it. Let's go to the range, right?
And see, I quit watching your videos because you don't throw politics in there. I'd like to see more of that.
I suck at arguing politics. That's the truth. I'm just not good at it. And you would think that's ridiculous with what I know and what I do, but I don't know the names of bills and I don't know the names of representatives, and I'm not keeping up on the latest and greatest, probably because I'm busy running 50 hours a week at work, so I don't always have time to sit there and investigate whose stance is what, where,
It's your channel, do it your way. Sometimes people want to break from that, but every now and then just talking about something shows that you're involved or you're somewhat informed, or that, and that's just it. If somebody wants to get all but fine, they're just totally shut up. There are people who go, I don't care where it's made. I don't care who they support. I don't care. And that's fine. That's your choice. But I will tell you this, it's kind of ignorant. If this company openly supports gun control and you want to support them, you're cutting your own throat. If this company ships jobs overseas and you support them, you're cutting your own throat. There are people out there who've never worked a day in their life in anything that is manufacturing. And there are a lot of things that are manufacturing, mining and agriculture, manufacturing, stuff like that, right? And they have no idea that they wouldn't have their service job if there wasn't manufacturing. Manufacturing is the backbone of the American economy. That's one of the reasons I push, buy American and stuff like that. It isn't just that our quality is better. I don't care what you think. Our quality is better. It's also that you might have a service, like Travis, your job is a service job. Okay. You don't make something. You can say, well, I manufacture young minds. Oh, that's really stretching it, right?
I do.
People wouldn't.
I refine the thought process of
people would need a cop,
everywhere.
People wouldn't need a teacher. People wouldn't need the civic center, the library. They wouldn't, all this stuff comes from manufacturing. You can say, I'm a lawyer and I make $1 million a year. I pay a lot in taxes. That's great. How many of your customers are in manufacturing? Once again, all these service jobs and all these other things. I'm in IT. Well, Greg, guess what, dude? You wouldn't have a job if it weren't for manufacturing. And that's just it. There are lots of people in this country that don't understand that. So when I get defensive over American jobs, they don't get it, right? I come from down south. I moved up here to where there was manufacturing. I never understood this, and it took me years to acclimate to it and then realize how much of the money up here trickles down there, or why companies up here move down there for business reasons, for money reasons, and now there's manufacturing all over the place. So when somebody says, I can't get a job like that, bull crap, it's probably within an hour drive of your home, and if it ain't, you must live in the middle of nowhere. But the whole point being is, people don't understand that, so they're going to fight back against it and go, I'm going to buy it anywhere and I don't care. I'm going to buy the cheapest thing. Then they complain when their Social Security gets cut. And it's like, yeah, because you supported foreign companies instead of supporting American jobs that are putting money back in to pay your Social Security, you moron. You were fine with it when you were on the payroll. You wanted people buying it because that kept you working. Now that you're not working, when I see a UAW member go buy a Toyota that was made overseas, I'm like, what are you doing?
Actually, right? I think most of the Toyotas are made in the USA. But
now, but I'm just.
Well, back in the day, there were still a lot of imports that came over from Japan. But
when you see a guy who retires in '87 by an '88 Toyota, and you're going, what are you doing? Well, it was cheaper. I'm going, yeah, but you're a hypocrite. And it's sort of the same thing with this firearm stuff. But the thing is, even I will, like I bought a Taurus a couple months ago. First Taurus, all right, made in Brazil. Did I support American jobs? No way. And the people go, well, there was the FFL, and there was a longshoreman that had to unload it, and there was the
UPS delivery driver.
Those are service jobs.
Person at the store.
Yeah, that's not the backbone of the American. I'm sorry, but your cashier job doesn't really pay the bills, guys. I got news for you. And if you want to see what I just paid in taxes on that double time, you'll see why manufacturing pays for this country. Okay. So I do it, right? I'm not into some of these Turkish guns or these Chinese guns or some of this other stuff, but every now and then somebody over there will make something that they don't make in America anymore, or they just plain don't make anymore, right? They start up this, and so I'm kind of interested only because it's the only thing there. My bike is my motorcycle is a Japanese motorcycle. It was made in Ohio with American labor, but all Japanese parts. No American manufacturer makes a bike in that size, that weight, with that cooling system, with that. If they did, then I might be looking at a more expensive Harley or something, right? And that's just it. No matter what you do, there's going to be people that are going to nitpick. Somebody's going to say, there's more Chinese parts on your Chevrolet than on my Toyota. Maybe, maybe not, but it's just there are so many things that we can do, not only to support American jobs, but to support the Second Amendment. And I think these companies need to do a better job about saying, what we're doing to support the Second Amendment. I know some of them only just send money to the NRA, right? Or they give stuff to the NRA for these contests and giveaways that NRA does, and go, see, we're supporting. And that's the quick, dirty, easy way to do it. And it's a way to reach the most number of people. So from a business standpoint, it's a good move. But for those of us who are purists, is that the best? You know what I mean?
Oh, so, yeah. Like the damage control that Springfield came out with the next day, and then the months following it with now this outpouring of money and funds for Pro 2A groups and youth firearm safety, and we embrace America. And then this, the Saint, I think, came out a little bit later on, the Springfield Saint, which had this defend your own, idea to it, and marketing this AR-15 to the average suburb couple about, you need to protect your family, and really getting out there and embracing this American ideal. It wasn't there before they got busted.
So
it wasn't there before,
But I look at it the same way. If you've got two widgets next to each other at Walmart, and the widget made in China is $1, and the widget made in America is $1.50, and you go, screw that, I'm saving 50 cents because every little bit counts, you're cutting your own throat. If you've got two semi-auto, 9mm semi-autos next to each other, and one is a company that openly supports 2A, and the other one is one who bankrolls anti-2A politicians, and all you care is you just want a 9mm, you want
the cheaper gun, and the cheaper gun could be from the one that's bankrolling the antis, or they have a CEO that doesn't openly, express support a civilian market, right?
You don't always know because these companies aren't open about it. You don't always know because these companies have guys in marketing who aren't gun guys and they don't get it. We have guys in CEO. I've said this before. I don't know how many of you guys don't understand this. The CEOs of these auto companies are not car guys. They're not gearheads like you. They don't go to the Barrett-Jackson auction. They're not car guys. They don't care. They're business people. These gun people are the same way.
They're about the bottom line. They're about what kind of profit they can bring back to their shareholders many times. And then, they're a business. They're in it to make money. They're not there to make friends They're not there to say, we're your two-way buddy. They're there to be the number one alpha dog.
We'd like them to be that. We'd like them to be that. They should be that, but they're not necessarily going to be that.
In the end, they got to pay the bills.
It's just like that YouTuber that you're their patron. They don't give a crap about the 2A. What they give a crap about is that you're their patron. Okay, they're going to fearmonger and they're going to do this and do that and have the thumbnails and the memes and the titles and they're going to be, you were talking about Coleon. He does about like 3 or 4 different types of videos, and one of those is the one where he gratifies himself and his sponsors. It's about making money, and some of the other ones are about fear mongering to fire you up, and that kind of leads you down the path to subscribing or doing this or doing that, which makes him money. I'm not saying he's not doing something good. He's getting, sometimes I think he gets the formula right, and other times I think he just totally shills.
I mean, if it's generating excitement for guns and it makes people go out and buy guns and discover their newfound freedom, then it's not a bad thing, whether the motivation is the money or shilling or pushing for company or not.
If the money disappeared tomorrow, he'd disappear tomorrow. And there's lots of people on YouTube that are the same way. And these gun companies are the same way. They're a business first and everything else second. So even if you buy your favorite manufacturer, or even if you have 2 non-gun items on the shelf and you're not going to always know, you're not always going to, and that's fine. But the thing is, some of you guys do it on purpose. You're like, I don't care if they just bankrolled a politician who signed an anti-gun bill, I'm still buying it. And that's your choice. That is your choice. But if you get blasted, just understand that's why you got blasted. It's just like when I blast the people that want to buy the foreign stuff and then complain, like I said, their social security check, their welfare check, or they shut down their factory or what. It's like you cut your own throat. So I'm not saying you've got to walk around knowing everything about every product, everything about every company.
And you can't. I mean, you wouldn't know. Like when I go buy guns, I don't usually check the website and see if they're saying, support the Second Amendment, our rights are under attack. It's like the only time you really hear about that is when their industry is being directly threatened. Now, some companies are very much pro-freedom, pro-America. I think about 80% arms, selling 80% lowers. Everything they had on there is, this is how you do it. Yes, you can do it. You have a right to do it. We're being attacked right now, but this bill, please support us, or, that, I mean, some of the companies are very much, pro, they're very patriotic. And I that does, as a consumer, to me, it does sway me towards their brand. So it does matter. And I would only hope they're being sincere. They're not just pandering in order to get the sales. Do their owners come out there and say, we support the Second Amendment, this is how we support the community, this is how we want more American, this is why we want more Americans to buy firearms. So
well, I look at it like this. I encourage people to be informed voters. Don't be ignorant voters. Okay, it's the same thing as a consumer, be an informed consumer. Now, that doesn't mean that as a voter, you've got to know everything about everybody on the ballot or blah, 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 or just like your products, every single. But when you turn around and go, I don't care. Okay, well, I'm not saying you have to know what the political stance is of that toilet paper manufacturer. But when you say, I don't care, what does that say about you? Is that the way you vote too? So that's my stance. If you don't do it, you don't do it. At the end of the day, I'm going to encourage it. And then when I hear you say, I don't care if I just gave the shaft to the Second Amendment or gave the shaft to the country or gave the shaft to your job or what, I'm going to blast you. And if you don't like it, unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Okay. So
all right, AWAG, do it. Daniel Defense.
All right.
Yes, no, maybe. What is it about DD that you don't like?
I would still say no. They make a good product. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, we're talking about Daniel Defense right now, which there's always something controversial about them in the news. Okay, go ahead.
They supported the Fix NICS Act that would basically make it harder for law-abiding citizens to own a firearm, because in that bill it's basically funded by the Brady campaign to, get guns off the street. We all know how that goes. And at the same time, after the Uvalde shooting, they straight up just dropped out of the NRA conference. Why? I have no idea. And then in the same breath, they're like, "Oh, gun manufacturers are not responsible for for shootings." It's like, okay, well, if that's the case, why did you drop out of the NRA stuff, the NRA convention? They didn't give a reason why they dropped out.
Now, Roll Call also says they said the ATF is something we need. They were actually supporters of the ATF.
Yeah,
in some verbal way. This was actually, now this is just the CEO talking. This is not the entire company. This is not the
Okay,
board of investors.
So
this is
hear me out. This is the CEO. This is the head honcho of the company. For all intents and purposes,
the original founder of the company, not some other dude that took over it. This is the original CEO and owner of the company, right?
But to the layman, they see, you know, this dude who is the CEO, whether it's former or not, they see that man make those statements, and they're going to attribute it to that company, regardless of it's a whole perspective thing. So, and you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword with supporting and not supporting things, because you know, it's one of those things like Gizzard said, is, you know, I don't know if my toilet paper brand supports the 2A. It's just like, okay, then
he goes, I don't care about what do you say, just something, I don't care about my like how who makes it, just so long as it works.
Yeah,
you know,
so that's
my toilet or my semi-auto.
That's a double-edged sword. So if you have a company, okay, let me put this out there. I'd much rather have a company come to my face and say, I just want your money. I'm a greedy business person, and I just want your money. And you basically ask them, like, hey, you support the Second Amendment? And they're like, I don't care. You know, just a completely neutral answer. Like, they don't do it, or they don't, like, either they support it or they don't. Like, completely neutral. You get nothing from asking that question, essentially. I would much rather give that company money than have a company say, you know, our guns are the best. And then, you know, a week later, they're just like, oh, we need to support the Gun Control Act of 2022, you know?
Yeah.
So if they're willingly putting that out there, and that information reaches you without you searching for it, I feel like it's more important that you don't support those companies that are, you know, trying to do stuff behind your back, and then they backpedal. You know, like Springfield Armory with their whole debacle. You know, especially with me with Ruger, and it does kind of tie back to, you know, Bill Ruger's dead, essentially. I'm not a fan of what he did for the 94 assault ones, but hell, I wasn't even alive then. But it still rubs me the wrong way that a gun company that still exists today that had that kind of past to it. It's the I forgive them, but I don't forget.
Okay. You know, it's like
add insult to injury by making the ATF statement. Okay. I mean, they didn't learn their lesson. They could say, we weren't on the board of directors when Bill Ruger was around. Yeah, but this isn't your company's lineage. This is a black eye on your company, right? And you're going to repeat the same. I mean, it's seriously the same thing. Don't you think, AWAG?
Yes. So actually, I would much rather have a company say, you know, hey, this is our bad past. Actually bring it up. Like, hey,
you know, we know in the past that we haven't necessarily come off as the you know, the supporters of the 2A that Americans expect, but we are working on changing that image, and we support the American gun owner. If they would come out and say that, I don't understand why that is so hard for companies to do. Be honest with us. You're not going to lose shares. You're not going to lose profit. You're going to make me a customer for life. Who markets this stuff? Do they not understand how gun owners think? They obviously don't. But what do we know? We're just regular Jews working regular jobs. What do we know about this kind of thing? What do we know about reaching Americans, right?
Being in an industry, I can tell you, sitting down with these marketing guys, with these CEOs,
they're just looking at demographics and trends and trying to figure out who to sell the gun to. They don't understand the culture, you know?
They will hire people that don't know jack about cars. They will hire people to do things for the company that doesn't make a lot of financial sense in the real world, but on paper it does. And these big companies like Daniel Defense or Ruger do the same thing. It's frustrating for me being in manufacturing to see somebody else in manufacturing make some of the same screw ups as the auto industry. When you're like, why would they put that option on the car, or why would they sell it in that ugly color, or why would they make a car that looks like a cube, or whatever the heck it is? Some idiot in marketing said this is what kids want, or this is what the customer wants. And when the car doesn't sell, that person might lose their job. They might not,
because they're not into the culture. They don't go to car shows. They don't know what people are interested in. Their little polls that they do of their customer control groups don't tell them anything about what people really want, you know?
If a car company hired more car guys, you'd probably have better cars out there. If a gun company hired gun guys, they'd probably have better, but they don't look at it like that. They look at, you know, where did you go to college and all this other crap, right? Did you work for another Fortune 500 company? And it's crap. But unless you're on that dirty other, it's like being in YouTube. A lot of people out in the audience have no idea what it's like on the other side of the glass. Dude, it's ugly. It's ugly. All right. You want to get into this? It's ugly.
It's a ground war.
Yeah. When you get into manufacturing on the other side and you're sitting in this meeting going, I can't believe this idiot just said that. That's going to cost us $1 million. But on paper, it's going to make us $5 million. And then it doesn't. And then the price goes up and the customer gets mad. And it's just, but that's the way it really works. And it's frustrating, dude. It is so frustrating.
So what AWAG is saying, what he's saying, you know, talking about how they might have come out in support of the ATF and what they had said before Daniel Defense. And then I go to the website and it's like, oh, 5 ways to support Second Amendment rights. And they've got links to the GOA and they've got links to the National Shooting Sports Foundation and they've got links for firearm safety. It's like, when did they put that up? Did they put that up after they got the $28 billion lawsuit dropped on them or whatever it was that the civil suit is from the Uvalde legal side coming back at them? Or, you know, are they now they need our help? Now they need our support. Now they're trying to appeal. And why isn't that link on their opening page instead of me having to dig to find it? You know, if they really do care, you know, let us know. I mean, you will have me as a customer for life if you are genuine. The other thing too, and I keep going back to this and I need to just let this go, but I remember watching like 5 years ago, Hank Strange was at the range day for SHOT Show. And there were reps there. There were like corporate people there. And then there were just also reps from the company running the products for the range day. And Hank Strange asked each person at the end of every gun test, does your company support the Second Amendment? Of course, a lot of these people would plead the fifth. They'd be like, well, I'm not one to speak on behalf of the company, so I can't share the company's official opinion on the Second Amendment. To me, that just says no. Because you should say, yeah, of course we support the Second Amendment. Of course, if that person said that, and that was not an approved opinion by their higher ups, that person would have been fired. But it was amazing how many of these gun companies are showing off this product. They're creating hype, and they're not saying, heck yes, we support the 2A. Heck yes, we want to give you an AK. Heck yes, we want to give you an AR. Instead, they're just like, well, I can't really speak on behalf of the company. I mean, what position would I be? Let's just say I was that representative. What would I do? You know, it's like, do I risk my career and let people know how we really feel, or do I really know how the company feels? Or does the company not feel that way?
This is where my opinion kind of goes, not really off the deep end, but it's a little on the extreme side. Is if it with me, actions speak louder than words. Don't tell me you're going to fix the problem. Fix the problem and shut up about it. You know, it's the sorry, I'm getting a little heated.
No, it's okay.
But it's these companies that you do go to like an industry day, and you like from a broad standpoint, you have a company that is building firearms for the commercial market, and then you ask them, do you support the Second Amendment? And they're like, it's like, no, you make guns. You either do or you don't. If you don't, get out of the gun industry.
Yeah. Now, again, I'm not here to promote. I'm not hired by any of these companies. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I've had these companies send me products, but I'm not in their big pocket. I've received no monetary compensation, but you can say what you want about PSA. You can call the rifles whatever you want. You can hate them. You can rip on their customer service and whatever. But in the end, they openly come out and have been quoted saying that their sole purpose in this country is to make sure that the average American can arm themselves with firearms at reasonable prices, right? I mean, they've got their Second Amendment on the website. They got the flag in the background. If you go under any interviews they've ever had, I've watched interviews with their CEOs, and they've said before, you know, I mean, did you guys know that the PSA like CEO was actually being questioned by AOC? Did you guys watch that interview and see how he tried to defend their products and how he was just getting beat down by the questions they were throwing at him? They weren't even giving him a chance to respond or even defend his response. So I mean, here's a company like PSA. You can talk trash about them, but they're doing a lot more to say, hey, we want you to be armed because you have a right to, than Ruger, than H&K, than maybe even some of these other companies that are out there, even maybe High Point. I don't know, right? So what do you guys think?
I think that if publicly he defended his customers. He defended Americans. He defended the Second Amendment. That would be good for him and the company. However, if he got cut off or this, that, and the other, they've got a website. They've got a platform. It's nothing for them to put a video on the website when you go to psa.com and this video pops up and you can click on it and it's a short video showing him getting cut off and showing him getting badgered. And then he says, I stood there not just for this company as a capitalist. I stood there for my customers as an American patriot. We support the Second Amendment, and despite what they want to tell you, despite what they won't let me say, I'm telling you that we don't put money into the pockets of politicians who don't vote 2A, right? Or something like that. But that would be up to them to go out there and make that effort, make that concerted effort. It's just like if you want to do, every so many videos, you want to do a 2A video or something, and your audience doesn't like it and you start losing subs, you got to make that decision. But I think that in the same sense, you might have some people give you negative stuff. You might gain subs that way, or somebody, or you know what? You just say, I don't do that on this channel, but if you want a channel that does that, my buddy so-and-so does that and I support this, or what. So there's different things YouTubers can do, different things these companies can do. I think though that it's important to try to be transparent and say, I tried and they cut me off, or we found out that this person we were backing is a rhino or something like that, right? And we stopped. We did, but we stopped. It's kind of like you talking about earlier about just being upfront with people.
Look, I mean, PSA has it right here. Sell as many guns to as many law-abiding as Americans as possible. And that kind of thing makes me want to be a customer for life, unless the guns really are not a high enough quality that I want to use them, or I don't think they're safe to use, or whatever. And, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the AOC thing, here's how they're trying to paint these companies, these CEOs. They were showing off a PSA AKV or AKP that had like a palm tree finish on it. It looked like a tropical shirt. And, they might have called it like, the boog, scheme or paint scheme. And then they're trying to say, well, because you are selling a product that has a color scheme that's shared by the Boogaloo Boys with their tropical shirts, do you know that there's links to them in extreme, white supremacist extremist groups? And and PSA is known for doing these parody lowers, right? I mean, that's one of the things that they do is these AR-15 lowers that have funny stuff on them. And they're like, well, it was, they are the Palmetto State, so why not put palm trees on their guns? But they're trying to link these companies and these CEOs, making them look like bad people. I mean, I don't think a lot of people understand that that's how extreme it is on the other side, right? And I know, yes, I'm probably getting political for once, but it is industries. I mean, so, and again, PSA, this is why they have my respect. And I would hope that they're being genuine. The fact that they offer their products at fair prices and they do what they do. I mean, freedom over profit. I mean, yes, they make a ton of money, but they do it because their prices are some of the lowest in the industry. They just got that marketing edge, and they've got a lot of hot deals and they've got lots of great things that they offer. And that brings people in. A $599 AK-47, right? And who else does that? Okay. Yeah, and it's made in the USA. So I'm just saying.
That's the thing with PSA too, is at the bottom is the 100% lifetime warranty. Is these people complain about the quality of these guns. Like they get a gun that, the feed ramps weren't polished. It's like, cool, send the barrel back and get a new one. That's literally as easy as, it's so easy. You
might say, well, my gun's got a lifetime warranty. Does it really? I mean, Glocks are a 3-year warranty, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not ripping on Glocks. I'm a Glock owner. I'm just saying that, even though they're this tried and true design that's got this pedigree, they don't have a lifetime guarantee. Not that they wouldn't cover it if the gun had some sort of critical failure and maybe you were injured or whatnot. They'd want to know what happened, right? I mean, they might stand behind their product. We don't know. But not every gun's got that kind of lifetime guarantee, right?
Personally speaking, I will support a company 100%. If they don't say, I support the Second Amendment, but they have a product that's skirting the rules a little bit of, like, say, we'll take for instance, Rare Breed. Rare Breed really on their website, the forced reset triggers. They didn't necessarily on their website say we support the Second Amendment. However, they made a product that skirted around an ATF rule. Legally speaking, they went around a rule that made a mechanically semi-auto trigger that makes it seem like a machine gun. So that kind of company that flies in the face of the monarchy, if you will, is a company that will keep my business. Now, as soon as they're like, oh, you know, Second Amendment isn't for everybody or something along those lines, that's when I pull the plug.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, real quick, they've been here for almost an hour and we haven't even acknowledged that they're with us. So New York Outcast is here representing the hero team, Smith & Wesson. New York Outcast, what's going on, brother? How's it going? We're so heavy into this discussion. Welcome to the circle, New York Outcast. What do you want to say, bud? What's up? He's probably sleeping. He's probably like, dude, I gave up on you an hour ago. Go ahead, Bo. What's up?
I'll just say good morning. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us, folks. Thought I'd pop on earlier when it got a little quiet with your guests, but they came back and got it together. So
Outcast, what is your opinion on the whole deal? Should you be an adamant supporter of the Second Amendment if you sell Second Amendment related products like gun stands and or firearms? How important is that you make that connection with your audience? Does it matter? Because a lot of these companies don't have to worry about us little civvies because they've got their high dollar military and police contracts. What do you think, New York Outcast? What do you think?
I think it matters. It matters to me. I prefer to do business with like-minded people that would support our rights, our freedoms, our country. It's definitely my preference.
And I support you because you're a 100%, American manufactured, American based, veteran owned company. You have my buying dollar because I respect what you do and I respect you as another U.S. citizen. To me, that matters. Look, you just made me a customer for life. I know you've sent me my stands, the rnldisplay.com stands to test on the channel, but I promote you and I push you because I like what you do and I believe in what you do. See, that's all it is, marketing people. That's all it takes is have an honest, genuine opinion in favor of, our veterans or the Second Amendment, and you've got me as a customer so long as you're being genuine. Okay. So what do you think about that as I tell you that?
I appreciate hearing it. It's pretty much my feelings being returned in a sense. So, and obviously I feel it would be good if more of us supported one another like that as well. Now, back to the Springfield issue, things like this. I've come across people, new people. I'm sure we all have.
Yes. Yeah.
Where they start speaking of, I was looking at this or this or this. I guess, I was trying to think of how I could cover it, but I guess that's probably the best way I could cover it. Usually my advice to those people is I would warn them of the stigma, the bad press on these companies, and, they got to make their own decision. Personally, I stay away from some. Not to say if there was something I really wanted, I wouldn't pick it up used. I think that's still an option, but I try to forewarn people because it seems like new people kind of want to impress their friends. Mm-hmm. So they usually end up with a Glock as a safe bet. Which disappoints me, but that's another story. But
you're just in there grinning the whole. As soon as that Smith & Wesson letter got dropped from the CEO, you're like, I've been telling you all along, the M&P is the safe bet. You're buying the company that cares about you. Oh, did I mention they're New York compliant, right?
But,
so yeah.
In the end, if you're buying this for your wife or whatnot, or you have a concern, truthfully, I want you to have the best tool for you, which might not be the one that would be ideal for me. So if that happens to be, unfortunately, a Glock, Springfield, whatever, so be it. It's your life at stake, not mine. So, I will make some jokes here and there, but I'm not going to literally shame you. That's just, that's ridiculous, I think.
Well, and a lot of the times you don't know because you're so caught up in the hype of wanting to get that new gun. You don't realize that person made that statement or that CEO actually supports it. And here I just dropped $2,000 on a firearm that you make. Maybe that was a bad decision, And again, like I said, being very much in the public, being YouTubers, when we show off what we buy, we are open to the criticism of the people that watch our videos. And we could lose subs because of the choices that we made. Like, unsubbed, you shall not support that company. It's like, what did they do? And then you find out it's like, oh my God, really? So yeah. No, man, I wanted to get your take on it and see what you thought about it. All right, Single Shot's joining us. Single Shot, what do you think, man? What's your take on all this? Do you believe it is a firearm company's responsibility that sells products in the USA to adamantly be in support of the Second Amendment? Now, remember, this company they also have a right not to. And that's what makes this company beautiful, is you cannot support something if you're not all about it. Although you should be, you don't have to. So Single Shot, what's your take on this whole little discussion? What do you think? You might have to find the mute button. I should have gave him a heads up that the discussion was coming his way. He also is on the road traveling, so there's a possibility he doesn't have a very good signal. So we head over to Ruger, and I get, oh, there he is. All right, go ahead, buddy.
Along with the rest of the folks here, if I'm going to.
Okay, dude, you're breaking up pretty bad. I'm sorry.
No, I will. You know, I'll get some of their products, but you know, I'll definitely get a hold of the company and find out, hey, what's going on. Yeah, I'm sitting in Clinton here. I'm trying to.
Hey, Single Shot, we're going to wait till you get a little bit better signal, because we're only getting about half of what you're saying, so we will come back to you, okay? Guys, again, this is just what happens when you do live shows. It's no big deal. We'll come back to you here in a little bit, bud, all right? All right, so again, I'm not trying to point out and point fingers and say, this is a bad company. So we head over to the Ruger website, and I've searched and looked, and there's nothing out here at all about, you know, the right to bear arms or support for the Second Amendment. Although Ruger may support pro-gun organizations, they may be a supporter of the GOA or the, you know, NFOA and whatnot. Again, I see nothing on their website, and I'm a big Ruger customer. So it's like, is it now, should I email them and say, hey, do you guys support the Second Amendment? Do you guys care about the American gun owner? Do you even, you know, you promote it, you create a lot of hype around your products, but do you realize that you get to do what you get to do because of the rights we have in this country, and that makes your country unique, you know? So I'm just saying that maybe we need to be more adamant, and maybe we need to get more active about letting these companies know, what is your position on the Second Amendment? What is your, you know, what are your thoughts? You know, if you don't even say, hey, you know, enjoy our products, we promote this, we promote that, like say PSA does, which takes a very visible take on it, or even Smith & Wesson for that matter, you know? So again, that's just another one I'm just pointing out. Like, I went through the whole website and didn't see anything. I found some links to safety and organizations, and maybe Ruger does, you know, donate to charities on the side, and we don't know anything about it. Maybe they do support youth shooting programs and we just don't see it. And again, maybe they just choose not to be public because they like to support it in their own ways, and they're not necessarily going to be visible about it. So, I mean, they have a right to not go out there and outwardly express their support or lack thereof of the Second Amendment. That, again, that's the beautiful thing about this country, is if you're not in favor of something, you don't necessarily have to support it. So, you know, I apologize for the noise in the background. My dog is currently dreaming, so he's woofing at something that's not there. So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the Ruger website. I'm a little bit shocked. They have no links to anything, no GOA or NFOA or Second Amendment Foundation links or anything like that. Although Ruger, I know they are heavily connected to the NRA, and I'm not going to criticize them for that. I'm just saying that, you know, you see a lot of their advertising in their magazines, and a lot of their products show up in their magazines. But now we'll just take a moment and just kind of have a lighthearted moment here. Patriot in the Dark says, if a coffee company advertises with cowboys sitting around a fire, but secretly promotes blueberry mocha frappe cappuccino, what do? I boycott. Patriot in the Dark, have you ever had a good blueberry mocha frappuccino? Because Squidward here will attest to me that it really is tasty. It actually is very delicious. So Squidward, what do you think about that? Would you not support a coffee company because they are promoting blueberry mocha frappe cappuccinos? All right, you might be away from the mic. It's okay. Patriot in the Dark, it's all right, buddy. We forgive you. If you don't want to, you go right ahead. But again, that kind of brings up the whole Black Rifle coffee debacle too that came up, where I was a huge supporter of Black Rifle Coffee Company. And then eventually it came out that even though the CEO claims he lost a bet, he gave money to some anti-2A organizations, and also had made public statements that their company doesn't want to associate themselves with a certain profile of their customer, even though the marketing, the hype, putting an SBR on your main logo, promoting freedom, shooting lots of guns and freedom, and these tattooed up warriors having a great time out there, showing you a lifestyle that you can belong to if you drink their product and buy their product, creating this hype, creating support, but then in the end having maybe an ulterior motive. So I don't know. And I know a lot of YouTubers have come out publicly criticizing Black Rifle Coffee Company. Again, we're just picking on everybody today. And I know they do a lot for the veterans community. They actively hire veterans. They support the veteran community. Okay. But I don't know if they've ever really come out in favor of civilians owning firearms. They say they're about guns and freedom, but for who? You know, exactly what do they say? Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the Black Rifle thing. And I don't think Black Rifle makes a blueberry mocha, but if they did, I wouldn't buy it. I have 2 videos. Maybe I should just take them down. I can go into the studio and do that. I got 2 Black Rifle coffee from back before, right? And I've got
I got people that rip me for it, saying, "Oh, yeah, I stopped watching your video because you support Black Rifle." It's like, dude, that video's from 2017. This is 3 years.
Yes.
This was 3. I was posting off of what my perception of it was the company at that time, not when they got audited. And it turns out they contributed to 5 anti-gun organizations and Moms Demand Action. All right. So, and I know a lot of YouTubers have gotten phone calls from like Matt Best, who's like their second in command at Black Rifle, saying, well, we do this, we support this, we gave this money to this organization. It was just a mistake. He lost a bet. Because I know a lot of big YouTubers have come out and said, well, I had a chat with them. We had to talk about it. And you know, they did tell me that they do this. It's like, were they threatening you with some kind of litigation if you didn't turn around and change your opinion? Or were they really being genuine, saying that, hey, we really do this. Please don't paint us as a negative company. Of course, at this point, they're so mainstream. They're franchised. They're in every grocery store. They don't have to care anymore. They got FU money now is what they have. So they can do whatever they want. And it doesn't matter because they're always going to have a fan base, right?
So I've got one from 2020 and 2019. And they're both private now. They're taken down off my channel as far as the viewers are concerned. Done.
Well, the problem is I would like promote the cup of coffee.
Now, I'm not virtue signaling. Honestly, I've thought about this a few times, and I just haven't gotten around to really cheap, freaking crappy coffee. Look, anyhow, here's the thing. Black Rifle is everywhere. I go into my FFL. He sells that.
It's ready to go, ready to drink. They've got more stuff you can get. You know,
he's got more Black Rifle coffee T-shirts in his store than he has his own company logo T-shirts in his store.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm going to stop doing business with the FFL? No. He's the best one in the area, and he's a good guy. I trust him, and I like going there. So he wants to sell that. That's his business thing. You know, this is what I mean about picking and choosing. Okay. I primarily buy American, but on occasion I buy something foreign. I primarily buy from the companies that support the Second Amendment or publicly do that. But on occasion I'll buy from another company that I don't know because they're the only ones who make this, right? It makes sense. But when you're just going, I don't care. Well, you know, don't be surprised if I blast you for it once again. But I'm glad you brought up the Black Rifle coffee thing because at first everybody thought that was cool, right? And at first we had the indication that they were supporting us. They were supporting not just America and veterans, but also the Second Amendment. But then when they screwed up bad. But in the private chat here, Outcast asked a question: at what point does a change in staff equal redemption with a company down the road? And I think that's a great question because people can be mad at Bill Ruger, but he's dead and buried, right? So Ruger now is, you know, got board of directors and blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Buy Ruger. And then they do the same thing Bill Ruger did. So what do, right? Smith & Wesson. So Ruger released some videos this week of their new products. And I watched one of them and I made some comments on there about, I like Ruger, but I'm not buying their products right now because they don't support the Second Amendment. And all these people blasted me. And, you know, I'm like, no, I'm giving my money to Smith & Wesson because they've publicly come out and supported the Second Amendment, and I did just buy a Smith & Wesson rifle, and so be it. But the people who said, well, yeah, but they're the ones who had the Hillary hole. Well, that was under different management, right? That decision was made under different management. So I think New York Outcast asked a question that is relevant for some of us out there. When do we forgive them? Now, something I would like to point out, I factor in are they just virtue signaling? Are they just placating you to get your vote or to get your business, right? Like a politician. Are they just doing what they think they should do because their marketing team tells them? Are they doing what they think because it's going to, do they sincerely
look
say,
at Tony's
no,
comment?
There's a new sheriff in town, and you know, Tony says, you know, do people not realize that these companies have stockholders and a board of directors that guide the company's direction? They might say, well, we know that coming out with this, or we know that we're going to lose a certain percentage of the buyers, but
it's acceptable losses. We're going to get 75% of the buyers, and we're going to lose 25% of the buyers because of this campaign or that campaign or this marketing strategy or that marketing strategy. So a lot of the times, yes, it's the stockholders and the board of directors. If something's working, don't deviate from the formula. Don't change the formula, because it could cost us on the bottom end, which again, it's about money. It's about these companies staying in business. So when they do come out there, if they are successful like PSA and they sell a ton of guns and they are pro 2A and they are pro freedom, to me, that's like the sweet spot. That's the best formula right there that a company can have, right?
And you and Tony are right. And this does come down to business and money. And this goes back to what I was talking about. If you were in industry and saw this stuff, it'd make you sick or whatnot. But there is still something I think we can do. We're consumers and we're Second Amendment advocates and activists. Why don't we speak our mind? I'm not saying convert people. I'm not saying bully people. I'm okay with shaming people. I mean, I'm good at that.
How about make a video where we come out and say, maybe you should only buy from companies that openly support the Second Amendment, because a lot of these companies don't say what their stance is. Why would you give them their money? And then use the analogy of, not buying American. If you're not buying American, well, it's a little bit cheaper, but you're still cutting your own throat, because at some point down the road, those jobs could shift over there because that company's profit margin's higher because they're not made in the USA. Do you not care about the long-term effects of this? Maybe you don't. Okay, you don't have to, but still.
I think that's a good idea. I still just, if you do it, don't be surprised if you get people who push back. I don't care. I just got my pension and I don't care.
Well, I've only got so much money to buy the gun, so I had to get this gun because I had to buy this Turkish semi-auto because I don't have money for a Glock, which was just kind of ironic because they are made in the USA. Some are, but in the end, the money goes back to Austria.
Kingpin says, just save up your money and get another gun. And I agree with him. But regardless, at the end of the day, you earn that money. At the end of the day, it's your ballot. It's at the end of the day, it's your throat to cut. But when it's mine too, I'm going to blast you. This is why when people in the Second Amendment culture do things publicly that I think embarrass the culture or set us back, I'm going to blast them on a live show. I'm going to blast them in my videos. I'm going to blast them in the comments. It's my opinion. You want to blast me back because you think I'm a bad example or you think go right ahead. I mean, that's where the conversation comes from. But I think that as consumers and as advocates, we can push back. Now, I know we don't have the power of the board of directors. We don't have the power of the stockholders. We don't have the power of the marketing team, but we have some power. And I think that there are people out there that just buy whatever's cool and they don't think about it. I want to give them something to think about. Now, if they go, I don't care what you say, I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyhow. Good for you, because that at least shows that you're somewhat independent. You're not just following the herd. But if you're like, I never knew that, or I never thought, because from time to time, you guys point out stuff that I wasn't aware of, and I appreciate it. What I do with it is my damn business, though.
Now, I want to talk about H&K, and I'm not going to rip on H&K because I think everybody here knows that H&K, they've never, openly advertised and a love for the American gun consumer, for the American gun civilian. I watched an interview with a representative from H&K over on the 1911 Syndicate channel a couple days ago, and they asked the guy the question, why isn't it that H&K supports the U.S. civilian market? Why don't we have an MP7? Why don't we have this? Why don't we have that? And the guy said, first and foremost, H&K has a heritage, or, a lineage or a history of supplying the military police market. That's who they cater to. That's who they push for. That's what they do. And he goes, we offer models for the civilian market, but he goes, we only do them in certain batches, or certain guns would take a lot to get them imported into the U.S. because the guns are made in Germany. Our own German government makes it very difficult for us to export products. Now, he says that, and I'm reading in the comments down below, and they said, well, FN makes a civilian, a Belgian manufactured whatever, saw that you could go buy at your local sporting goods store that's semi-auto, or you can buy a SCAR, or you can buy this, or this company makes that. So is H&K really trying, or do they not need to cater to the civilian market because they're doing just fine off their government military contracts? And I thought H&K was near bankrupt. I don't know. I wasn't 100% sure, but I am surprised that H&K hasn't. Maybe do they have a manufacturing facility in the U.S. or not? Do they make guns in the USA, or is everything German imported? I don't know. Do you guys know it all?
I have no idea personally.
But I know that's one thing people always rip on H&K, saying, oh, they don't care about the civilian markets. The mags are overpriced. The customer service sucks. And they even said that they got a very small service department in the U.S. And the guy said, he goes, because our guns don't break that often. They don't need that much service. And he goes, therefore, there is a long wait time and a long turnaround when your gun needs to be repaired, because we just don't simply have the facilities to repair it, because, for one, the guns don't break. And two, the civilian market is a very small percentage of what we do. Now, I appreciate their honesty, and I'm not going to rip on them for that. I wouldn't expect. I mean, you watch H&K's tweets, they are very adamant about not being snobby, but like ripping on people, you know, referring to us that don't buy their products as the poors, right? The poors don't buy our products. We don't sell to them. We sell to people that want a well-made product. And that's fine. They have every right to do so. And I'm not saying don't buy their products. I think they make really nice guns. So it's kind of interesting that, you know, you shouldn't expect every company to want to be pro Second Amendment or be adamant about U.S. civilian firearms ownership, because that's just not what they do. Now, should it be different? Yeah, I think so. Should it matter? Yeah. Do they care? No. Are they going to change? Probably not. So, you know, again, it does come down to you doing whatever you want to do. You buy and do whatever you want to do, right? Then we've got some companies like, and I'm just picking all these companies I looked up today. I looked up Bear Creek Arsenal, and as you know, Bear Creek has sent me uppers, and I've tested uppers, and I've bought uppers from them, and so on. I went around on their website, and they do have some like American flag Cerakoted guns and stuff like that, but they don't really push the freedom agenda like PSA does on their website. But I'm poking around a little bit, and they do have the BCA Foundation, and they talk about community outreach, integrity, higher education, sponsoring local shoots, sponsoring youth shooting programs in their neck of the woods. So, I mean, some of these organizations are just maybe a little more, they try to maybe be a little more humble. Maybe they don't want to boast that 2A marketing side and use it as a tool to sell a product when maybe they're not genuine about it. Now, I really do believe the Palmetto State Armory is. That's just my opinion. But again, some of these companies, maybe before you make that next purchase, poke around a little bit and see, are they supporting the Second Amendment in any way, shape, or form? Now, I see no links anywhere to the GOA or NFOA or Second Amendment Foundation or NRA, right? They might be there, but they're not being very visible about it. So again, it really does kind of come down to whatever you want to do, whatever you want to buy. So, you know, I don't know. I guess it kind of just leaves me running around in circles when we have this whole debate. I would say if you can support companies that openly support the Second Amendment, that are pro-veteran, that are pro-freedom, that do advertise. I mean, I know I talk about going to Shields all the time to buy my stuff, and I'm not contracted by them. I don't get paid by them, but I go into their store, and they've got giant screens by the escalators showing off people using their firearms, people hunting, people enjoying their products and shooting. They show, you know, advertisements for EOTech and Vortex, right? And so they're showing these things off. You go upstairs to their gun department. They've got the Second Amendment huge plastered along the wall where you go to check out. Reminder, this is your right to own these guns. They've got people that are very enthusiastic about firearms ownership that work in their store. So things like that are what make me a customer. I guess I'm just trying to tell a lot of these industries, if you're listening, you know, if you're genuine about what you do, you will have a customer for life. And if you don't want my buying dollar, that's totally fine. But if you do, it doesn't take much. Just show us that you really care, you know, and be genuine about it. So I don't know where I'm going with this. What do you guys think? Anything you want to say at all?
Got something, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead, dude. Let it out. Yeah.
The HK thing, I can state. I've liked HKs, but not as a civilian. I think their customer service is the linchpin, that and the price. So just that alone would keep me away. I guess I'm a poor, you know, and honestly, with the numbers in America, I think it's, you know, they're probably highly dependent on the military and law enforcement contracts. And, you know, if they're publicly going to come out and talk like Squib about people, you know, because, you know, that the whole poors thing, like that's like more than 70% of America would fall in that class in a sense. You know, if you look at the numbers, you know what I mean? Like, so. Yeah,
I would just tell those companies, don't come to me for a bailout when you need it, because we're not going to support you. Our government probably will, but we won't. You know, Why would you cut your throat on the majority of your people? I mean, you know what I mean? That's just kind of crappy. Because they're fine on their civilian and military contracts. They don't have to care, you know? Now,
maybe today, but that doesn't necessarily stand for tomorrow down the road. You know
I'm thinking of, didn't that Colt file for bankruptcy and got bought out because, you know, apparently, and I don't know much about Colt's background, they never really have pushed much for civilian gun ownership or being pro 2A or being whatever, because maybe it's because a lot of what they offer, they don't offer to the civilian market. I don't know. But I know there's always some hard feelings for Colt. When they went bankrupt, it's like, oh, they can have it. I don't care. You know, like when they lost their latest military contract to FN, that pretty much sealed the nail in their coffin, and they got bought out and Colts are back in production again. But, you know, Kingpin makes a really good point. You think your favorite food place cares about your health? You think any TV you watch cares about your First Amendment? How about any of your news caring about free press? No, again, in the end, it is the survival of the fittest, and it's all about the bottom dollar. But if there's any appeal at all saying we do care about your right to do this, if they openly advertise that, from me as a consumer, that's going to get my dollar, and that does matter to me. Now, a lot of people don't care about that. I do. But again, I think Kingpin's making a very good point. It's in the end, these businesses need to keep the doors open. They've got a profit margin. They've got shareholders, and they will do whatever they got to do. And hopefully they're not just saying whatever they got to say to keep their doors open and keep their dollars rolling in. So Kingpin's got a good point. I don't feel like anybody should have to be obligated to specifically care for us or care about us or care about our thoughts or our buying dollar. But when it comes to guns, I guess I feel a little bit different because it's a right. It's a way to defend ourselves. It's a freedom that we have, right? And to say that you're in support of that freedom, that means a lot to me as a consumer. And again, that's just my touchy-feely moment there for you.
In the same sense that we have that freedom in this country, we're also capitalists, and we can vote with our wallet. And I know there are people, don't boycott because it doesn't work. Then don't. All right, don't. All right, I'm going to boycott, and I pick and choose, and I can go back and forth, and I can, like I said, I don't buy Black Rifle coffee, right? But I don't stop shopping at my FFL because
they carry it,
right? And there's somebody go, you're not going far enough. All right, well, whatever. And then you have somebody else going, I don't
Black
care.
Rifle Coffee Company T-shirts. They got their coffee on the shelves. I don't sit there and say, don't buy that shirt. If I see somebody wearing it, you made that choice. Great. In the end, it still is an American company in the end. But still,
Yeah, and that's just it. It's like when I talk about Buy American and somebody goes, well, yeah, but there was a guy working the cashier and then you supported his job. It's like, whatever. So each of us has a level, which it goes from nothing to so damn hardcore that you don't have anything, right?
Yeah.
And that's a choice, and everybody's got to make their choice. I think, though, if you share your experience, other people might say, I never thought of it that way. And if that helps them, fine. If they just go, nope, this guy's a shill or this guy is a hypocrite or whatever, so be it, then it doesn't help anything. But we're a capitalist society. So in the same sense that we can be activists or advocates and we can promote companies that I think help us or at least don't hurt us as much. I mean, it's all what I say about voting, right? They're all crap bags. It's just which crap bag is your crap bag. They all are going to do something we don't like. They're all going to hurt us. Who's going to hurt us the least? It's not who's going to help us the most. It's who's going to hurt us the least. The lesser of two evils, which people can't stand hearing. Well, it's kind of like that with your wallet too. So if all you care about is price, if that's it and that's all your motivate, so be it. That's your, I don't think that's smart, but hey, you have the right to be stupid in this country. Okay. If it's about availability, you need something and this is the only one that's on the shelf, then that's what it is. But it's capitalism. It's capitalism, how you decide to spend your money and where you decide to spend and when and all that. And I think that we can affect change on a smaller scale or over more time as capitalists. If a company goes if Black Rifle Coffee goes out of business tomorrow, I won't shed a tear. I won't. And if I find out that a coffee company that I like to buy their coffee from is anti-Second Amendment, then I've got to make a decision at that point. Do I stay with them because I've been with them for a long time, or do I just spend my money elsewhere? And if somebody wants to jump on me, I have the ability to defend myself. And if I don't, people talked about the whole Wrangler Levi's thing or whatever it is, right? So I think each one of us has to make a decision. So as a patriot, you can vote. As a capitalist, you can vote with your wallet. If you don't believe in either, I don't think you're helping, but it's your life.
This is kind of like something I want to pose right now. Let's see what happens in the long run. Now, are we gonna shut up and put up, or are we gonna buy from Smith & Wesson because they openly came out? They've made me a customer now because of the fact that I know that they care, right? So the shoe to says Smith & Wesson came out pro-gun, which was great. Like pro-gun, as in obviously we know they're a gun company, but pro-gun is saying, don't come after us. We just make the tools. We support a person's right to own these tools. But they're under the most serious attack ever now because the anti-gun folks are using the M&P name against them, saying it's military and police. So it's like, now is there going to be some massive backlash? Are we going to see Smith & Wesson just have massive profit losses because people aren't going to buy their guns? Departments aren't going to contract with them because of criticism from their community, right?
So M&P is 100 years old. M&P has been around for, I think, since World War I, hasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, M&P isn't something they just came up with.
But that's not what they're going to make it out to be. They're going to say, "Oh, they're military and police." You know, defund the military and police, defund the M&P. You know, you can see that being the next anti-movement that comes out there because they're supporting an oppressive, tyrannical regime that's terrorizing American citizens. You know,
these are politicians and anti-gunners being ignorant of history and not knowing where M&P came from. Now, if we, the Second Amendment culture, are ignorant of that, that's worse. That's absolutely worse because we should know. We should know better. M&P is a trademark name from Smith & Wesson that's been around for decades upon decades upon decades, and it didn't mean civilians can't own these guns. So if we fight their lies with the truth, then we're doing our job in the same sense, you know, knowing what companies don't support us maybe is doing our job.
So I'm gonna toot my own horn here, and I'm going to shoot down the Squiblift comment that says, "Do you think your favorite YouTuber who's monetized cares about their audience?" I'm gonna say yes, and to prove it, if you look at my stats, I responded to 23,500 comments last year. I responded. So I care about giving people feedback about what they think about my channel and what I do care. I can ignore those comments, never respond, never give a heart, never give a thumbs up to the comments, never do a giveaway, never do a Patreon giveaway, but I do genuinely care about the audience enjoying the content that I make and sharing their opinions with me. I mean, maybe I'm more touchy-feely than most people, but I do care about what my audience thinks about my videos. Now, if somebody doesn't like a video or they blast me for it, I'll say, well, what didn't you like about it? Or why are you being so negative? And 99% of the time I get no response. Somebody will call me out on something and I'll say, well, what's your issue with this video? Or what did I say that was wrong? Or sorry, I was talking too quick. I mean, if you look at my videos, I try to respond to as me individually. I don't know where I found the time to respond to 23,500 comments last year, but according to YouTube, I did. And so I don't know if that's just comments that happen in general, like in chats and stuff, or if that also counts replies. But I mean, I genuinely care about my audience. What does this have to do with selling guns? Absolutely nothing. But I mean, I think people, if you didn't care what people thought about your videos, you wouldn't do it because you want people to like you. You know, you want people to promote your brand and your image and enjoy your content. I mean, that's kind of a big part of what people do, right?
No, but I guess what I mean, I'm talking about like you and about 6 other guys. Otherwise, so people like the big YouTuber that you mentioned at the beginning of this show, I'm telling you, the money goes away, he goes away. He has a regular job where he can afford more than most of us, and he's pretty much set. Okay. And I'm telling you that if the money went away, they demonetized him. He could make all the videos he wants. So he can't make any AdSense revenue. Nobody would sell his products. No sponsor would back him. He's no longer getting free guns and getting paid to go on these trips and all this stuff. He's got to do everything out of his own pocket. He disappear tomorrow. Or
he find another company to hook up with that'll pay the bills.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, he's selling widgets. Right. But the whole point is that that's what I'm talking about. That's no different than this company that goes, we're going to do what the board of directors wants, not what our customers want. So at a certain point, I think, and I see it in the auto industry. Like I told you in the beginning of this, the marketing guys that tell them to make this car that nobody wants. You know, what's kind of funny is when GM said, we're closing Oldsmobile, they brought the price of all the Oldsmobiles down to clear them. And they were selling so fast, the dealerships are going, keep making them. And they kept Oldsmobile open for like another 2 years after they were going to close it. And the whole time they're selling these cars cheap, and they're making such high profits because of the volume. And I'm sure at some point somebody stood up in a board of directors meeting and goes, why don't we keep Oldsmobile open and just keep selling them at this price? And these guys said, no, we said we're closing it because on the books it looks good and this and that and blah blah blah. And that's what these people do. They think they're holier than thou, and they think they know more than you, and they know more than me, and they don't have common sense, but they're wealthy. And in the same sense, you got some people that make it big on YouTube, and everybody gives them so much credit and this, that, and the other. But I'm telling you what, they would disappear tomorrow if the money disappeared. And it's a business. So I think it's good that they do stuff like bring stuff to the forefront, get people to start paying attention. It's just when the people just start like hypnotically believing everything they say because they're gods, because they've got 1 million subs and I don't. That's where, and then you're not being, you're not doing yourself any favors, really.
Yeah. Might as well mention Glock while we're at it. We're covering all the companies here today. So Glock's not pasting the American flag out there. They're not saying we promote the 2A. We're in, but they are out there appealing to potential gun owners in their own way, like news shooters, sports shooters, everyone in between. They've got programs that they want to offer. They sponsor different types of shooting competitions, and so maybe they've got a slightly different marketing edge to appeal to the average American. And again, Glock, they've got their military and their police contracts and so on. Although they don't openly advertise that they're pro Second Amendment, or you don't see any flags anywhere. Occasionally you get these Sarah-coded American flags slide on special edition Glocks, but so not every company is going to go out there and say that we support the 2A, but if they're supporting new shooters, if they're supporting, legal firearms ownership, I can't knock them for that, necessarily. And again, maybe that's just as much as corporate wants to allow for their appeal to the masses. And like we said before, everybody keeps making these comments that it really does come down to the company's bottom line and their profit margins. They're going to take as much of a risk as they think they can financially afford to take, and they're going to go off what their marketing guys tell them to do. Not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that that's kind of the reality of certain companies. Tara Smith's Kitchen said, I just posted a news link from Facebook to your Discord. Tara, I access Discord maybe once a month or maybe twice, and that's about it. I hardly use Discord. I don't run it on my phone actively because when I'm at work, I'm not on Discord, and I just don't use it to communicate. We usually text or email and stuff like that. But she did say that a 17-year-old shot 2 masked armed men with a shotgun in an attempt at home invasion, Houston area. So again, you don't think civilian firearms ownership matters? Well, it does. That kid's alive now because he saved himself, maybe some family members, and so on. So what do we have here? Now, Scott79 says, I think that gun companies are also being very careful with the marketing because of what happened with the Sandy Hook lawsuit. Yeah, and Daniel Defense has been brought into the limelight because of their marketing campaign, which they have every constitutional right to advertise however they want. But they had advertisements that the left is playing off of now, saying that you're marketing guns to babies. You're offering payment programs because you want Americans to own these dangerous weapons, right? Pay no mind to the fact that DD's been supplying the American military for many years now, and we've won battles with their rifles in our soldiers' hands, right? But they don't care about that. They just want to demonize the company, right? They don't care about the fact that we have the freedom that we have because these companies make these weapons, right? That's not what they care about. So their agenda is to simply pull them out of the hands of the civilians and take down whoever they can because they don't care, right? But yeah, Scott 79's got a pretty good. Maybe they're not as visible as they used to be because they don't want to, rub somebody the wrong way. And now that company's in the limelight or being criticized because of who or what they show in an advertisement, whereas they have every right to do so in America, and that's what makes America great. Just saying. So yeah, that's probably a pretty good point that you're making there. Somebody made a comment about YouTubers. Most of the large YouTube channels would disappear. Patreon banned gun content. They actually are in it for the money. I will say this: I was not monetized for 4 years. I believe I've been monetized for the last 3 years, and a lot of what I do still comes out of my own pocket. The monetization helps. It's been wonderful because I've been able to buy a lot of things with it: camera equipment, more guns, more ammo, and whatnot. And I'm still able to do that stuff to this day because of the investments I made in everything that I'm doing to run this channel. It helps, but if my monetization ended, if Patreon would go away, I'm not going to disappear. I'm still going to keep shooting. I'm still going to keep buying guns. Guns are my hobby. It's what I do. It's my relaxation. It's my place of Zen is the range, right? I'm not going to stop purchasing those tools that I use for my meditation sessions, if you will. So I'll keep being here. Doesn't mean that I'll maybe buy as expensive as guns as I used to because I don't have the monetization, but I'm still going to keep here for you guys unless my channel gets shut down. So, and I'm still visible everywhere else. You can still follow me on Gunstreamer and UGEtube and Odyssey. I'm all over the place. So, I'm just saying. But yeah, a lot of those companies rely on that for their budgets to maintain what they do and make those trips that they make to Europe to go visit those factories and so on, because if they might be demonetized on the YouTube channel, and they rely on Patreon or Subscribestar or their endorsements and their links, right? Let's see here. So John Z, Mo EDC says, what do you think about Bass Pro and Academy? Those are 2 big box firearm stores near me. Yes, there's plenty of mom and pops. Just curious about the big box guys. I would just do a Google search. Does Bass Pro Shop support the Second Amendment? What do they do? Bass Pro owns Cabela's. Cabela's was or is a Nebraska-based company. And I shopped at Cabela's for many years when I lived out in central Nebraska because there was no Shields nearby. And so, what about that? What do I think about that? Academy Sports and Bass Pro. I mean, I would have to look in to see what their stance is, since I don't shop at either one because they're not nearby. I really can't say. I know Academy has a lot of fans. I know that they offer some really, fairly well, some great price firearms and appealing to the masses. And, Bass Pro, again, I've only been in one once or twice, and it was the one over in Iowa. So I really can't comment on it. I guess I would have to see what their stance is before I decide to support from them or buy from them. Again, just because of distance. I think my nearest Bass Pro might be in Kansas. Or not Bass Pro. Academy might be down in Kansas, so I really can't say. Scott79 says, screw Bass Pro and Cabela's. I don't, Cabela's, when I would shop there before it was Bass Pro shops, it was guns all over the place, freedom, American flag hanging up, great place to shop. They're limited by whatever the laws of the states are in the U.S. Each state individually was selling their firearms. Just trying to see here. I'm not stopping YouTube until I rid all of the hard seltzer, says Hillbilly Up. Hillbilly Up, man, we know how you feel about hard seltzer. There's no reason why anybody needs that. Nobody needs fully semi-automatic hard seltzer. That's all I got to say. Nobody needs a 30-pack of hard seltzer. Let's just get that out right now. So those high-capacity boxes of hard seltzer need to be banned. Hard seltzer is a threat to the American public and must be stopped. So I'm just going to say that right now. The Shootist says, I worked at a large big box store, one that's been mentioned on this live stream several times. I left and went into farms manufacturer side directly because of the lack of 2A support. Interesting. So maybe there's stuff that's there that's really not there on the other side. I don't know. Again, as a consumer, we can only see what we see when we're on their websites and when we're in their stores. So
there's a Bass Pro 15 minutes from my house. There's a Cabela's about an hour. There's a couple other Cabela's that are anywhere between, I would say, about 90 minutes. But the Bass Pro that they opened here, what was that, like 20 years ago? It's attached to the mall. And it's kind of interesting that in this mall full of all of these left-wing stores where they sell you feelings and pink fluffy stuff and stuff like that, on the other side of the wall, there's a gun range. My Bass Pro lets conceal carry, has a classroom underneath the gun range, and upstairs has a gun range, and they have conceal carry classes there. They rent the space, obviously. They're making money, okay? But they could be like, no, we can't have conceal carry classes in here. You can conceal carry in the store. The reason they don't like the open carry is because of the fact that they're attached to the mall, so they're somewhat beholden to the mall. They rent the space, or I forget. I had them explain it to me one day, but They hold classes there. They've got a gun range there. They sell all kinds of stuff there. The NRA, at least once a year, goes in there, and if you buy a membership, they give you a gift card for Bass Pro that is equal to the cost of your membership, or equal to the cost of your membership minus $10. So for free or for $10, you can get an annual membership. Some of you don't agree with the NRA. I really don't care. I love the NRA. They're great, and you guys can hate me for it. You just have to look at it a certain way. Regardless, yep. I don't care. I'm not trying to change your mind. I really don't care. GOA is the same thing. FPC is the same thing. All right, I've said enough. Anyhow, they do that because it does bring in customers and stuff, and it does generate sales because I get that gift card, and now I'm going to spend the difference, on my Bass Pro. Well, actually, on Don't Call Me Mrs. Squidward's Bass Pro card to build up points so we can cash in them points and buy some more stuff at Bass Pro. But yeah, they carry stuff when mom and pops don't. And you can say, well, mom and pops don't have that buying power. Then get the buying power. Okay, get the freaking buying power, because you're not helping your customers. I'm not saying they're angels or whatever. And I'm pretty sure the NRA owns part of Cabela's and Bass Pro, because there's a big NRA wooden logo above the threshold coming in the door. So they don't host GOA events there. They don't host FPC, 2AF. They don't host any of the 3 Michigan gun rights organizations there. So more than likely it's because the NRA probably shuts them out. They don't sell USCCA there or any of that other crap. I'd like to see that. I really would. But Bass Pro has a lot to offer. You can buy the stuff online and pick it up, buy the stuff online, have it shipped. If you're looking to get your first gun safe, they have 4 sales a year where they sell American-made gun safes that are light enough that 2 people can carry them into an apartment upstairs, or you could get a furniture dolly from U-Haul or from Home Depot or something and move this thing yourself with a dolly and a strap and get it into your apartment, your house, your trailer, whatever you've got. and you now have a safe. If you've been looking to get a safe, I would recommend going to Bass Pro or Cabela's because they have a good selection. Some of theirs are imported and whatnot, but even if you're just starting out and you just need like a 5-gun safe, not a cabinet, because those cabinets don't do crap. And I'm not saying a safe is impervious either, but these things, sometimes you can get the really nice ones that are hard to move. They have double fire protection, so, and you can store your documents in or stuff like that. So I don't look at Bass Pro as a bad thing. Now, I will tell you this. When they merged with Cabela's,
well, they bought Cabela's. When they absorbed Cabela's is the better way to say it. Because
absorbed, merged. I do see more Chinese products in Bass Pro now that are Cabela branded that weren't Cabela. When they were Bass Pro branded, they were made in America. I will say that. From that standpoint, I don't like that. But I do like the fact, and at first you couldn't use a Bass Pro gift card at a Cabela's or other way around, or whatever. Now it's all interchangeable. So that's good. But I think for the masses, if you live near a metropolitan area and you want to go to a gun store while your kids go shopping at the mall, or you want to go to something that's centrally located, I think Cabela's offers more than Bass Pro because they are still somewhat different. But when you can't find those primers, go to Cabela's. I bet they got them. You can't find that powder, go to Cabela's. You want to get that hunting rifle on sale, look at the sale ads, pick it up at your scope. The fall hunting classic, right? That is a great time. I bought a scope, binoculars, and a rangefinder all at the same time. And because of the sale price, I got a great deal on all three. So I see them as a gateway for some people. But now like I said, I would like to see them have more events there, though. It'd be great if they had a GOA day or something. Yeah.
Real quick, New York Outcast wanted to chime in, and then Hillbilly Up will come over to you. So New York Outcast, what did you want to say? I just saw your comment over there on the private side. What did you want to say?
All right, thanks. Sorry, I just didn't want to cut in and cut somebody off.
No, that's okay. I got to glance over and check private chat once in a while. I always forget to do that. so go ahead, man. What do you want to say?
Unfortunately, it steps back. It's slight subject, but it's about you publicly stating live on a show that you would still do this if you weren't receiving donations or Patreon or whatnot.
Yeah, I was doing it before, and I'm going to keep doing it after. And granted, this was even before I had my agreement with SS Pawn, where they were loaning me firearms. I started off this channel showing the guns that I bought. And a lot of the guns that I didn't even have any kind of work with SS Pawn until maybe 2 years or so after my channel had already gone on and before I was even monetized.
Yeah. It's easy to say something, I guess, when you're not monetized, but you've gone from not monetized to monetized, and now you're publicly stating if it ever dropped back, you're still going to be there for the people. You're still going to
monetization is a two-headed, it's a what do you want to call it, double-edged sword, so to speak. It's nice having the revenue, but then again, you also lose a large chunk of it to taxes, and there's extra fees I got to pay because it's technically a business. There's different standards your videos are held to because of it. There's the frustration of a video not getting monetized. There's that creator frustration when something is limited or no ads and you don't know why, and you ask for a second view on the video and it still gets shut down. And then, I know I can escalate it and stuff. There's that side of the stress of wanting to maintain that revenue. So it is a double-edged sword. So if it disappeared, would I miss the money? Of course, who wouldn't miss the money? But at the same time, I was doing it before. I was paying for this stuff out of pocket. I'm still going to continue paying for stuff out of my pocket because monetization doesn't cover everything that I do on this channel. If it's gone, it's gone, And so, you can hold me to it, write it down, make a declaration, post it wherever you want. Unless my channel gets shut down, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I don't have the SS Pawn, supply of firearms that I used to. So I'm just going to keep doing it. I've got guns in the safe I haven't even showed off yet that I'd love to show on the video or on the channel. So
I just like to say, I think that's an honorable move. I mean, hopefully you don't have to get held to it. I hate to see your stuff get screwed up or whatever, because you seem genuine.
I've even questioned, I love the Patreon side of it, but I've even questioned, these people are giving me their money and I love that. Do I still need that, or would I rather see them support other small channels and help those other channels get going like they did me before? Things like that. These are questions that I have. And it's like, well, you're an idiot if you give up the Patreon. What if that would turn into $2,000 or $3,000 a month? Well, first of all, probably won't. If you look at the growth of my channel and the number of patrons I have, I've stayed pretty much the same for the last couple of years, So it's like, at what point do I want to be humble a little bit and let somebody else have an opportunity to maybe grow and expand? So to me, I sat in a meeting, and I'm going to tell you right now, I sat in a meeting with 5 that are now big YouTube channels. And I was asked the question, do you want to make money, or do you want to keep doing what you're doing and just be happy? And I told this person, And I'm not going to tell you who it was or who was in there. These are big channels. And I said, you know what? I said, and the reason why I said I want to keep doing what I'm doing is because I love my job that I do during the day. And that job is gonna, in the end, it's gonna take care of me when it's all said and done, right? And I want to keep doing that. That is a guarantee in life. But when I'm told, do you want to make money on YouTube? It's like, yes, I do. But then I'm realizing, what if the channel gets shut down? What if I get demonetized? What if I get strikes? I didn't think that it was a safe enough bet to bet my entire career where I am right now on taking that opportunity to make some money now and hopefully maintain that revenue down the road. Because I had an opportunity to join in some groups that would have probably done really well for me, but I wasn't ready to step away from what I was doing for my day job because that's where my true passion was. This is a hobby. This is something I do for fun, right? Yeah, I take it seriously. I put a lot of time into it. I've invested thousands of hours of my life into it. But that's why I'm telling you right now that if it would end, I might get upset and say, well, I got shut down and I don't know why, or it's not fair. I might whine and complain. Who wouldn't? That's a natural reaction. But if that stuff happened tomorrow, watch it happen tomorrow, I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing. All right. Just because this is not my career. This is not my life. I enjoy it. I love it. This is a passion of mine, but I have a day job. I have a way that I pay the bills. I've got something I've committed myself to for the last 20 plus years. So why am I even telling you this? I have no idea. I'm just saying right now that this is me being genuine with you guys. Right. So that's all I'm going to say.
It's respectful, I think, and honorable that she would still do it. And I think, yeah, that's kind of an issue with the culture or whatever you want to say. Yeah, it's kind of hard to trust somebody, whether it's a reviewer or anybody, YouTube, whatever, as far as, their honest opinion and this and that, if their focus is about funding, if it's about money.
It's amazing how many, now we're going to talk about that Springfield Prodigy one more time. If you look at reviews on it, it's amazing now. I don't know what it is about this gun. How many little people out there are saying an honest review of the Springfield Prodigy, or, there's people saying like a regular gun guy's interpretation of this pistol, or where like a regular person's review of the Springfield Prodigy. Those videos are popping up. And I don't know if it's because they're having problems with it or if they want to give a perspective that's not being pushed by the giant channels. It's just odd about this particular gun at this time when I'm watching the reviews on this gun, how many of those little channels, maybe they're just trying to make a name for themselves and so they want to put a clickbaity title out there, but how many of those little channels out there are saying like an honest review of this? And maybe you've always had that for every gun that's ever been put on YouTube, but it seems really weird this time. There's a lot of little channels out there, and maybe they're expressing frustration. I don't know. There's some fails out there on that gun that are out there also. And I'm not knocking on it. I want to buy one. I think they're very cool. I'd love to have a Springfield Prodigy. I think they look cool, man. I'd love to get one. Of course, Rock Island's been doing one for already like the last 5 years. So maybe the Prodigy isn't, some new concept that wasn't already out there, but go ahead.
I think it's good that you're transparent with your audience. And the limitations you put on your transparency, I respect that too, because I think that's a very professional way to handle it, especially when you're talking about other people that are in the whole YouTube thing there, right? And that is a key indication that you're not in it for the money. I think it's good that you're defending yourself, even if it's on your own show.
Well, I didn't see it as being, it's no guarantee it's going to keep. And at the time I was still married and I had a mortgage and I still had all this stuff going on. It's like, that's not a guaranteed paycheck, where my day job more or less is, because I'm good at what I do at that job. And I don't see any reason why I would have to leave that particular job. I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable with that. Where this is a risk. Every time you post a video, it's a risk to everything you've ever done because of the possibility of a shutdown or a strike or whatever, Now, most people just put content out and they don't think about it. They don't care about it. But for me, it's always got to be a calculated risk, So that's why I didn't push forward to make a career out of it, because a lot of those channels have gone on and they're huge now, and that's great. That's fine. And I remember, maybe you just need to kind of suck it up and swallow your pride and go for bigger things. But that's just not me. So yeah.
Well, the people in the audience who don't do this, or maybe who are new to doing this, haven't done this for a while, might be easily influenced or might not understand. And I think that's why some YouTubers are critical of others. Some YouTubers are critical of others just because they're trying to build their analytics. It's an easy way to do it, right? But that's what I guess the underlying theme of is just be careful what side you back, because they could They could stab you in the back. They could show their true colors one day. You could find out that you've been backing somebody who doesn't care about you or anything. In the same sense that so many people give big YouTube channels the credit. Oh, they're so smart. They're so knowledgeable. They know. And once again, they're just, hypnotically, they're so good. And it's like, no, it's the same thing with these companies, the same thing with these politicians. It's the same thing with so many other things. I encourage people to think independently. And I'm not trying to, once again, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to put something out there for you to think about. What you do with it is what you do with it. But there are so many people that will say, I don't buy this brand or I don't buy that. But then they're kneeling at the altar of big YouTube channel X. And it's the same thing, dude. You just you're not seeing it, that sort of thing. I think Outcast had a good point here. Outcast, you want to talk about your little comment here in the private chat?
Oh, sure. I wasn't sure if Travis wanted me to hit that because I know I can be toxic. So, but yeah, I was stating, no, I respect that because it kind of transfers to me over into the same fact as, activism, everything else. If you got to be paid to do it, then it's not genuine. I shoot and do stuff in my life as it is. I'm not as big as, I don't go out every day. I'm not a big YouTuber or something like that, but this is what I normally do. So I'm going to do it whether I'm making a video or not. It doesn't make any difference to me. I mean, technically I do more than I make videos on because it's personal life or whatever. But, I feel the same with activists. I mean, if somebody's got to pay you to go out and say something, then, I'd rather you just stay at home. I mean, I'd rather the guy that's doing it out of his own pocket, out of his own heart, own principle. That's the person I want to support. Personally, that's genuine to me. Now I know people say, well, you got to make a living, this and that. I mean, you do, but I can make a living. Travis makes a living. There's, I don't know. What I mean? There's, if it was in your heart, you would do it anyway. So
I'm going to tell you something. One of the reasons why I haven't gone to SHOT Shows because it happens like the week after we come back from winter break, and I don't want to be gone from my job for 4 days in a row or 3 days in a row because of the work it's going to entail to make up for what I miss out on, but also because I just genuinely enjoy doing what I'm doing every day. And SHOT Show is very important to me. I'm sure I can grow and get lots of cool content, network with people. I'm sure it would make a major boost to my channel, but if it didn't happen on like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'd probably be more interested. And maybe I could go on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday or something. But it's similar. And that to me, I just don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. So yeah,
you could go to NRAM. It's a shorter drive, or you don't have to fly. And it's literally the same thing. People go, no, it isn't. Okay, SHOT Show's bigger, and SHOT Show doesn't have your average person in there. But it's really not that big of a deal to walk up to these people with your cameras and say, can I do an interview? Can I ask you about this product? Can I make this YouTube? I didn't have a problem doing that at all. I actually, since I'm in manufacturing, I talk shop with these guys more than anything else. But I did talk product. I did shoot some videos. I only published one. But I'm like, this is not hard. Why do all these people whine and complain? And don't tell me, well, you've never been to SHOT Show. You don't know. It's just like saying you've never been to Wanamaker. It's a gun show, okay? It's a gun show, okay? It's the biggest gun show. Fine. SHOT Show is the biggest industry show. But if you go to these, there's booths, there's people. They literally pack up the same crap that they took from SHOT Show to Great American Show. Then they pack that up and they go to NRAM. And then they pack that up and they go, pick your next trade show. Sure, maybe there's less and less. Everybody goes to SHOT Show, not everybody goes to NRAM. But literally, if you wanted to do the same thing without having to be an elitist and get special permission to go in there because it's not open to the public, or you're a small channel or whatever it is, literally go to NRAM. That's what it is. Everybody thinks it's about the NRA. The NRA stuff doesn't even happen on the floor where all the trade stuff is. And if you want to get swag to give away to your people, yeah, that's a great way to scoop up tons of swag. I mean, I couldn't believe some of the stuff I saw, right? With people just stealing this crap, right? They give it away and if that's what you want to do, if that's all you're there for, that's fine too. I was having more fun talking with these people than I was the few things that they actually sold there that I bought, because most things aren't for sale there. It's not a store. All right, there's a few things for sale, but everything else is just demo and try it out, and just just all the other stuff that was there. It's the same thing. So if you can't do shop because of the time of the year it is, Travis, maybe see if you can get a long weekend. I don't know how.
Yeah, one day is a lot easier than missing midweek or trying to plan for being gone for 3 days in a row or 4 days in a row.
You should be able to drive to Indianapolis in about 12 hours.
Well, and part of it too is with my not that you guys really care, but because of how I get my actual sick days. When I started over again, my entire bank of sick days started over again. So I was very limited with what I had available, not to mention the fact that it was during COVID times and my job would require me to burn my sick days before the COVID paid sick days would kick in. I couldn't take that chance. If I get really sick and I burn through my 10 days, I'm out for the rest of the year until my bank refills itself. So, I have to be, everything's got to be calculated when it comes to what I do. So, real quick, let's give Hillbilly up a chance to say what he wants to say. I'm reading your comment. And I'm going to make a confession to you, Hillbilly. I don't advocate, consuming alcohol on my channel at all. I've had White Claw once, and the only reason why is because it was offered to me, and I didn't want to be a rude guest and turn it down. They just said, "Oh, have you ever tried this before? You got to try it." They handed me a can, and I tried it, and it just tasted like salty, fruity Sprite is what it tasted like to me. So, and it's not exactly my favorite flavor profile. So, yes, I'm going to come out of the closet, admit that. I have had the windshield washer fluid known as White Claw once, but I you know what? I just can't. I guess to me it's not. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna sound sexy. It's just not manly enough for me. If it's not a porter or stout, I'm just not interested. So what were you gonna say, good sir? Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Do it.
Yeah, I was just messing with you, buddy.
It makes a great aftershave though. It smells nice and fruity and it's light and hoppy and low calorie, right? So that's, White Claw does have its place, but, at the range at 100 yards. But go ahead. Yeah, what were we going to say?
Yeah, there were several things kind of spoke today here. I just wanted to touch, one that I absolutely know for fact. We talk about, supporting our companies, supporting companies to support the 2A or whatever, and I'm a big believer in that and everything. But, sometimes it's not always possible and everything like that. And so, I have a lot of things to say about that, but, it's a little late, to really get into deep discussion on that. But what I was going to make a comment on was the Bass Pro deal. Mm-hmm. I heard Squib talking and stuff. And sometimes people say something and they think they know that what's truth or fact. And then sometimes it really is not. And I personally know and have for many years known Johnny Morris, the owner and founder of Bass Pro. And, so there's things I, wanting to say a little bit about that. They are limited to what state they're in or something like that. Bass Pro was his first store was here, and in these stores, it might be totally different than one in some other state.
Yeah, there might be ordinances that require you to disarm at the door because their gun laws don't allow it or whatever. That was one of the criticisms that somebody had out there was, well, I don't like Bass Pro because they don't allow me to carry concealed in their store. They require me to surrender my firearm.
Yeah, it's the whole Cabela's part about it, I'll tell you the truth on that, because I live in this area. They were putting in a massive store and everything to compete with Bass Pro. Johnny Morris bought them out. That is.
Oh no! What I was told is that there was going to be one of their shareholders was going to sell everything off or something, and it was going to cost them a huge profit. So if they hadn't sold out to Bass Pro, the company might have gone under.
Yeah, they literally bought all kinds of land down here. Not only they were going to build a big store to compete with Bass Pro, they had a property for
Bass Pro and Cabela's are right next to each other in certain states, are literally across the street from each other.
And so if he didn't, basically it's one of those deals. I feel like he had to step in and offer buy him out because they definitely were going to be competing with him. And I mean his nature park, Dogwood Nature Park. I mean that he bought that land literally from my grandfather. 20,000 acres, so, I've hunted and fished with the guy anymore. He's so big. I mean, you don't talk to him anymore. He's got, lawyers, everything to deal with all that, and so, I was going to get to the point that sometimes when you get big enough, you don't get to, communicate with people that you used to and stuff like that.
Maybe
so,
don't control every single aspect of how things are done, because for one, it's not healthy for you, and two, you hire people to do this for you. Doesn't mean that they're still not liable for what they do, and your company can't still be liable for the decisions they make, but it's also part of being an active boss and knowing what your employees are doing. Still being a part of the company, or having people that communicate with you the details so that things don't happen and you become the next Springfield Armory,
Yeah. If one of his, because this happened around here a lot, if one of his lawyers showed up and wanted to buy your property and stuff, they are very mean and hateful people. And you think, oh, geez, man, I can't stand this guy. Is people that worked underneath him that, is doing his bidding for him. And I understand, we should try to control that, but in some means there's no way to control all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I am pro America, pro 2A. I try to buy from, all the companies that support them and stuff. Same as I buy local mom and pop stuff, all that I can before giving to bigger, businesses. And it's good that we do that and we support all that. But then there's also the other side that sometimes you just can't,
Yeah. Defense Dad makes a comment. He goes, Bass Pro is prejudice. They're fishist, right? Why isn't it Catfish Pro or Bluegill Pro? Or why isn't it, why isn't it Grouper Pro or Red Snapper Pro? Seriously, they just the fact that they're that right there, fish everywhere are going to be rising up in protest. So carp lives matter. So yeah, carp.
Am I with you guys now?
Yeah, man. Well, yeah. What's going on? How you good? How we doing? Are you good? I heard you laughing once. I thought maybe you got a good enough internet connection to stay with us. So you kept bumping out and coming back in. So what's up?
Yeah, I got caught in a parade here in Clinton. So I had to wait. Oh my God, almost.
I was expecting to say a parade. I was like, I caught in traffic. I got caught on the merge. I'm caught in the middle of a parade right now. There's yeah. So we're about to wrap it up. A single shot. What is your opinion? Should companies that sell firearms in the USA, should they take an active position to be in favor of the Second Amendment and civilian firearms ownership? Yes or no? What do you think?
Well, as I tried to say there before, I would still buy items from that company, but I would be quick to contact the people in charge and express my distaste about that. Yeah, I agree with Squidward, what he said earlier. It's their company, it's their choice. Okay, well, your choice to be you includes my choice to be freedom from you. That's what I have to say about that one.
Yes.
And I stick to that one. I've dropped companies a lot, quite a few of them. If they don't support the Second Amendment or the Constitution of this country or our patriots and veterans, if I don't stop business with them completely, I'll reduce it severely and look for somebody else.
So you still vote with your buying dollar. You can still be an active consumer and say, what is your stance? Why don't you guys have a stance on this? Do you realize how much more product you could make if you really did truly care about this stance or that right, or boasting it? We want you to be genuine about it, but you're going to reach me as a consumer if you genuinely show that you do care about the product,
Yeah.
So, or about the Americans' right to own it. So I mean, I guess I feel like if you're going to be in this industry, I'll just put it out there. It should be genuine, but you should have a support for the Second Amendment, regardless of what percentage of your profit comes from the civilian gun sale side. Because if those contracts dry up or disappear, and then you need us to bail you out, we're not going to be there. Or if you don't openly support us, it's going to be hard for us to want to support you, even though we love your products and we want to buy them. We just can't find ourselves to do it. We'll go find somebody else to give our money to. And maybe you don't have to care, but if 1,000 of us care, or 10,000 of us care, or 1 million of us care and don't buy our products, then you're going to be upset saying the American population let you down, the American public let you down. Well, no, because you were never there in the first place to show us that you wanted us, buying your products, so that you wanted to encourage us to celebrate the freedom that we have. Exactly. Yep.
I've expressed my opinions in different things in that same format. Many times, and I'm a proud American. I am proud of my country, not the government, I'm not proud of that. But the freedoms that we enjoy were protected by the people in the military. And like I've mentioned before, 6 generations of my family have fought and died for the rights that people enjoy nowadays. And there's not many of my family that's left. You know, it was an honor for me to serve and protect the rights of this country. But there's so many people out there that will not look at that the same way I do. And it's a shame. I was really surprised here yesterday. I was watching a video, and it had sub video in it, clip, that these guys went out on the American streets and asked students of all ages simple questions that could have easily been answered. They didn't know what the answers were. They had no clue. You know,
if it doesn't matter to them, or it's not
blown away.
If it's not pushed across to them on social media, they probably don't know. And if their parents don't educate them about it, then they don't know. If they've been raised on their phones and not good parents, then they're not going to know.
Nope.
So that doesn't surprise me.
They don't pay attention to what's being taught to the kids in school, and they have, you know, they've got their own egos, and they've got their own ideas about what they want to do in life. Well, that's all their choices. But when they got kids that are growing up and they get into trouble all the time, they get, you know, hung up in these gangs and whatever. You know, it's all to the parenting, and I hold it to the parents for that. You've got to set the example for your children.
Oh, it's everything, though. It's the media. It's the parenting. It's what they're force-fed as children. It's how easy life makes it for them. There's a lot of elements that determine how a child turns out in the end. There's a lot of differences in their life that can be made during that growth period, but society is what we made it into for them. I mean, not us, we personally, but the lives we've given them. You know, we complain about them being lazy. Well, we've given them every opportunity to not have to lift a finger to do everything they ever want to do. The food can be brought to them. Things can be delivered overnight. They can watch videos on how to clean this and have somebody teach them how to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're a product of our society. Some kids are, and others have been raised on a level where there's been more responsibility put on them as a young person, and they've turned out just like AWAG. So there you go. They turned out just fine. AWAG 1000, man. There's a model youngster for you right there, right? Yeah. He's working hard. He's doing what he loves. He's got a passion in life. He's got direction. He knows what he wants out of life, and he's taking advantage of it. So, you know, more power to him. So
you've got to treat these businesses in the same light, because if they sell items that are Second Amendment affiliated or freedom affiliated or American history affiliated, then they really got to kind of change their attitude or get rid of those products. You know, a lot of the people, these businesses that were selling the Confederate flag, they stopped it. Okay, you don't support history as it was written. Your problem. You're losing money. You know, I'm just going to say the same thing, and it boils down to this: if you sell an item that's community oriented, then you've got to have a little bit of a change of attitude and get into the knowledge line yourself and learn about this stuff. Because it proves to me that they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know history, and they don't know what they're doing to other groups.
They think they know who they're marketing to, but they really don't. Oh yeah, I agree totally, man. I think it should be, just because it's a very unique situation that they're in with this set of products. So would it really hurt them to go out of their way to say they support this or encourage Americans to do so? It would help their bottom line. It would build a community. It would show people that they're offering something that appeals to them. And I don't want to say they care, because we know that they're in it to make money, but still. All right, so we're going to go and wrap it up. We've been going for 2 hours. Again, we've really taken this discussion on a huge roller coaster. I think we kind of peaked when we were talking about the company specifically and what they do and what they don't do. Man, this has just been an amazing episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you're new to the podcast, you know, it takes us some time to kind of warm up to get to the topic, but This is just us all hanging out, talking, having a great time. And again, I want you to get out there, and I want you to subscribe to Single Shot and New York Outcast and Hillbilly Up, the American Hillbilly, and Squidward. They got great channels with great content. Show them some love. And again, we hope to see you guys back here next Saturday at 8 a.m. Central Time. Don't know what the topic's going to be, but I think I might have one. So I'm probably going to make a quick video on it here after we get done, and I'm just going to go ahead and post it up on YouTube, or maybe go live again and talk about it. I don't know. But I want to thank everybody for watching today. This has been Season 5, episode number 248. Don't buy a gun from that company because they don't support the 2A. Well, I think we've really examined the issue, broader feelings out there. In the end, it's going to come down to you doing whatever you want to do, and that's a choice that you make. But maybe think about the ramifications of you making that choice before you do so. Is there an alternative that can maybe support your hobby or your love a little bit better than the decision you're about to make, but maybe not? Again, it just comes down to your personal preference, in the words of Squid. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for watching. We're going to let the panel go ahead and give us their outros, and then we'll show a little love on the YouTube side, and then we're going to wrap this one up so we can start our weekend. All right, Squidload, we're going to start off with you. Any final words before we go? Anything you want to say?
I've already started my weekend. That's why I kept stepping away. Another busy one. It's another busy one.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I think it's good, though, that from time to time that, you talk about things like this or other stuff. Look, I've heard people make comments about YouTubers I know that maybe don't get controversial, don't get political. That's a choice that they've made on their channel. It's like, we don't talk politics, we don't talk religion, we don't talk this, we don't talk that. And I get it. It's your channel, and that's the way you want to run it. You want to run it. And I don't necessarily spill somebody's personal information, but when I've had some people say some things like, this guy isn't really 2A, or this guy really is this or that, it's like, you don't even know this dude. I'm telling you, that's just something he doesn't talk about publicly. Privately, I'm not going to tell you what his stance is, but you got the guy all wrong. So every now and then, going a little bit outside of the direction of the channel gives your audience a chance to choose if they want to try to understand you a little bit better, appreciate you, and see that you're not like just all this, or you're a shill.
I'm not just shilling cleanse oil.
And that sort of thing. It doesn't mean that just because you don't ever talk about it, or you hardly ever talk about it, it doesn't mean that you have to. So it's a risk. If you go out there and you talk about it, you're going to turn away certain people who don't want to hear it. If you don't ever talk about it, you're going to have people make assumptions. So the more transparent you are with your audience, I think it's better, but everybody's got to make that decision. I'm just kind of glad that you went this way. I actually thought this was going to be more about your Turkish shotgun than anything else.
We didn't even talk about Turkish guns.
I know. I was just like,
you're pro Turkey because you didn't talk about Canik. Oh my God, you didn't talk about Gearson,
Yeah, so I really thought this was a follow-up to the Turkish shotgun thing.
No, this was because of the Springfield video. I'm like, it's amazing how many people are just in adamant support, and Coleon is adamantly supporting this gun, and it's like, and where do your alliances really stand? And again, I'm not criticizing him because he does create a lot of energy and hype around being a gun owner. He does it in a way that gets the views, that brings in the masses. But it's like, I just thought it was kind of hypocritical. And that's my only criticism of him. Is that he's going to push for this product, but then he's going to make the politicians are coming after your rights video. But it's like, but the politicians came after the Illinois firearms rights owners and the companies in that company and in that state. So yeah.
No, you've got a good point. And if we don't police our own, the other side's going to police us. For the people that go, you shouldn't be critical of another gun tuber, or you're rude, or it's like, okay, if you can't handle it from me, how are you going to handle it from the anti-gunner with the megaphone? Oh, that's right. You don't go to rallies, so you wouldn't know. But yeah. So I, in my opinion, once again, this is what I think. If you don't do it, I don't care. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think you're being effective doing something else, maybe. All right. If we don't police our own, then we're not going to be able to handle the other stuff, or we're not going to catch something before it embarrasses the culture or something like that. Yeah. If Coleon was more transparent with his audience, there might not be as much misunderstanding, but he's not about to do that. I don't think. because he knows, just like the board of directors or the marketing guy or whatever, he's educated. He's a businessman. He knows
the analytics. He knows what makes his videos have the drive and what doesn't. He's not stupid.
Being transparent doesn't affect his bottom line as much as maybe being transparent, because if he did, then he'd have to reveal some things that maybe he doesn't want to reveal. So I'm not saying that you have to give up all your stuff. There's one channel out there that used to say exactly how much money they made, where it went, everything. I mean, down like it's like they're doing like a financial meeting, right? In their video, I'm going, wow, that's about the most I've ever seen. And then you have other people that flat out lie to your face. And that's kind of what I was talking about with trusting the YouTubers as much as you trust the company, as much as you trust the politician. Don't even trust me. Okay. Just don't. All right. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. Or, you want to call me out on something. I did a video about that. Call me out. I'll defend myself. And I'm glad you defended yourself and that sort of thing. I think that there's a lot more that goes around from transparency. There's a lot more. We all have our limits on exactly what we're going to share. And I think if you respect somebody's limits, you can be transparent without, I guess, spitting out all your skeletons or giving away all your secrets or share it. You don't have to tell everybody how much you make or what. It's not, and it's not
if somebody really cares that much, go to socialblade.com, punch in their channel name, and you'll get a range estimate on how much money they're bringing in every month. You'll get their average. So if you really care that much and you want to know, I mean, I didn't think YouTube, I thought the terms of AdSense were that you're not supposed to say how much you make according to the terms of AdSense, and something like that could get your channel in trouble. So, and then also it's just be happy with knowing that somebody's monetized. If they say they're monetized or they've got a sponsorship with somebody, that's fine. If that's all they want to tell me, that's fine. It's good to know. And you're telling me this gun was provided to you, or this gun was loaned to you, or this gun was given to you. I appreciate that transparency. I'm still going to watch your video, and your opinions of it, I'm still going to take them. I'm still going to listen to them, but maybe might change a little bit, what I think about your review of this product or that product, especially if you just boast it to the high heavens and don't rip on it at all, don't mention any negatives about it. Stuff like that is like, I appreciate that honesty. So, yeah.
Well, just that's just the way I look at things. Somebody might look at it differently. And if they can use this platform the same way I do, the same way you do, the same way a lot of people do, to express themselves. And by sharing our opinions and sharing our ideas, that's how we maybe improve or we have the opportunity to improve. It doesn't mean that I'm right and you're wrong. It doesn't mean that my way is the only, it doesn't mean, but there are so many things that I have picked up from you guys that I didn't consider before, or perspectives that I didn't think of. Then there's other stuff where it's just like, you guys are just as stubborn as me. The great thing is we can still be friends at the end of the day. And that's something that people on the other side of the glass don't get to see either. So it's not all just ugly. There's a lot of good to it.
Hug it out. Get over here. Hug it out. Come here. Give me a hug, Squid.
Yeah,
hug it out.
Yeah.
Outcast, get over here. Hug it out.
Anywhere near
we got enough room in my life for East Coast people. Come on over here, man. Bro, hug it out, bro.
You go anywhere near roll call, you're going to get a hug.
Oh, man. This is the good episode of the year right here. I'm going to star this. I'm a golden star of this one, and I'm going to share it, with the world. So there you go. I'm going to download this one and hold on to it so I don't ever lose it. That's right. That's right. All right, man. Well, anyway, Squib, it's good having you here. I'm glad you chimed in. I'm glad you enjoyed the episode. Like I said, I didn't know where it was going to go or what kind of screaming and hooping and hollering it was going to lead to. And we might have made a few people upset because they're just adamant fans of a particular brand, but this is just what we see. And again, we can all agree to disagree in the end if that's what it comes down to. But in the end, we're all gun owners. We all care about freedom, and we should. We all care about our own safety and our family's safety and promoting this great country. So, yeah, there you go. American Hillbilly, what do you want to say, man? Tears in your eyes? You feel it? You feel it? Yeah? Look at that. Just because Missouri kicks Nebraska's butt in football every year doesn't mean we can't shoot together at the range. God.
I know. I'm trying to find some American-made tissue paper here.
There is none.
Wipe my tears.
It's imported from foreign components. And it's made here in Iowa. It's made not here in Iowa. It's made, I don't even know. Sorry, this is just the fun we have at the end of a podcast. This is just this is the dumpster fire turns into at the very end. So yeah. It's okay, Hillbilly. It's okay. You can shoot on my range any day, Hillbilly. I don't care what state you live in. I don't care. You can be my wingman any day. Well, after Squib, you'll be my second wingman, and then Outcast is going to be on the other side, and then Single Shot's there somewhere in the air. So yeah, that's right.
We'll hug it out and have a group shoot.
There you go. We'll sit around, sing Kumbaya, and then just yeah. God. All right. So anyway, man, I appreciate having you here. I'm looking forward to you getting more fun content out there and letting the world know about how much fun firearms can be, and kind of creating that whole hillbilly nation. You know, there you go. There is enough room at the dinner table for rednecks and hillbillies. Just maybe not if you see some of the members of my family, but yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, rednecks and hillbillies, you know, we're kin. We're like first cousins, you know. So that's
Sam of Anarchy. Bring it in, Sam. Bring it in. Come here, bro. The losing of the marbles has arrived, LOL. No, the coffee's wearing off, and we're all hungry right now. So we're just like, we got to end this. We got to end this on a high note. So, Sam, come here, Sam. Get over here, bro. You can't get away from this love. All right. Anywho, so I don't know where we're going with this.
I just want to thank you, Travis.
For, man.
You know, having this platform, inviting me on here, and it's just so much fun. You know, visiting with everybody and all the side chat. You know, there's just so much great entertainment, and you know, and I've literally made lots of friends. You know, through this. So I just want to tell everybody that, you know, I've not watched absolutely everyone's videos or YouTube channels. They have one, but I pretty much have, and they're all great people. It's a good community. You know, myself, we turned off the TV that was having shows that we did not like or agree with, you know, and we went more towards YouTube, and, you know, and social media, YouTube, it can be a good thing, you know, folks. And so, you know, there's so much great content out there, you know, like these people here, and, you know, just kind of check it out and give them some love while you're over there. And I'm just here to tell you, man, it's a lot better than that NBC or CBS, you know, sitcom nowadays, you know. And
I'm subscribed to 125 YouTube channels. I barely watch. I watch like one series on television, and that's about it. I watch What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu because it's hilarious. It's like The Office but with vampires. I love that series. That's like the only thing I actually follow. Sometimes in the summer, I did watch all of the Terminal List. I thought that was pretty cool because I wanted to see what all the hoopla was about because people were wigging out on that. So, you know, but yeah, no, I mean, I just go to YouTube immediately and see what all these subscriptions. I watch a lot of the podcasts. I'm always bouncing around between different shows and stuff. There's a lot of great entertainment out there that caters to our community. With like-minded people, you know.
Most of my TV's old reruns of Andy Griffith and you know, stuff like that.
Defense, Dad. This was way better than Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, I haven't seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet, so I don't know what. There's a lot of thunder here, and there's a lot of love. So yeah, I guess I haven't seen that movie yet. I don't know if I want to, because Defense Dad's been just going off on this tirade about how this movie was such a letdown, and I don't blame him because you expect a lot from a Thor movie. There's a certain, you walk away from a Thor movie, you just feel like you walk away like, yeah, that was awesome, you know, but I don't know what it is. Love and Thunder was a letdown for a lot of people. So now I got to watch it. Maybe this weekend I'll try to check it out between filming, but yeah. Anywho, man. Well, Billy, good to have you here. I hope to have you here next week. I've already got the idea for next week's topic, and it's already come to me, but I'll post it this week, and so you can check it out. And hopefully you're going to
be are on live, Travis. Did you say you was going to have to miss one Saturday?
Oh, what's going on? Oh, yes. No, we will not be able to. Next Saturday, we're not going to be able to. Yes. I will be busy, but maybe we can do an episode on Sunday. I'll try to go. I usually do like a 1 hour before Giz or Gary goes live at 9 Central Time. So I'll do like an 8 to 9 Central Time, or like an 8 to 8:45. Because I got a fun topic I think we can discuss. So let's plan on Caliber Corner Sunday morning, because Saturday I have some obligations. That's all I can say. So I've got some stuff that I need to tend to. So yeah, it's not going to happen next week. Thank you for the reminder. I'm sure I'm going to get the email reminding me about what's coming up. So cool. Early watch chat. Spoiler alert. It sucked. Talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. Now I'm definitely going to have to see it. So, all right. So let's go and continue. New York Outcast. Anything you want to say before we go? It's always good having you show up here, Rob. What do you think, man?
Yeah. I'd start off by saying as always, thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. You know, sometimes I'm not up, unfortunately, but I try to jump in when I think I have some relevance to the topic or whatever, or your guests fall asleep on you like earlier this morning. So, but I just like to state, you know, despite what some people might think or tell you, Kingpin, there is companies out there that support the Second Amendment and care about you, and they have representatives that tell you to eat a salad almost on a daily occasion. So just keep that in mind. You know, R&L's displays would like you to be around. They'd like you to thrive, be successful, not just survive. That's a given with R&L displays. We
and
want
stay
you to
healthy. And stay healthy.
That's
Eat
right.
a salad.
That's right.
Eatasalad.com. That's the
Really,
parent
your
company
best
of Arnold
tool,
Displays.
you got it. Your best tools is mind and body. It really is. So,
That's right. That's right.
in the end, we need more good people. We're kind of getting outnumbered out there, all across the board, media, all this type of stuff. So, stick around, be a good, positive, fit representative. We need you. So that's just from R&L Displays and from me as an individual. Now, the individual side, obviously, pick a Smith & Wesson over a Glock, pay with cash, avoid credit cards.
Because they care about their buyers, and they care about American freedom, and they care about the Second Amendment and your ability to own firearms. Does Glock?
That's all I got.
Mic drop. Mic drop. There you go, brother. There you go. Again, I'm not knocking on Glock. I'm a Glock customer. I'm just saying. So I haven't heard. Okay, we'll just stop while I'm ahead. All right, man, dude, I appreciate having you here, guys. Make sure you get over to rnldisplays.com. Show them a little bit of love. It is some of the finest little display pieces that you can use to display your firearms. Okay, we got this nice little stand from rnldisplays.com. Again, definitely make sure you check it out. And last, certainly not the least, Single Shot. You want to leave us with a few words? Give us a plug for your channel. Anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah. Thanks for the invite, first and foremost.
Yeah, man.
But I'm headed towards Indiana here as soon as I get over to my customer where I got to pick up the trailer at, and then go out there and deliver that load and pick one up in Kentucky and come right straight back.
Cool.
So we got the dedicated run now. I apologize to my folks there that go by the channel. I have not had a chance to do much on either of the channels, really, because of.
Oh, you're a busy working man. You got to do what you got to do. You got bills to pay just like anybody else. So
But I do want to say that I'm still around. Just
right on.
Keep an ear and turn on the notification bell there, so you do see when I post a new one. So
cool.
Take care. God bless. America moves by trucks, folks. I'll tell you.
Absolutely. And if you don't believe so, just check your store shelves. So I always want to say your store shelves. Check your store shelves. So we're still waking up here. All right, man. Appreciate having you here. Let's show a little love on the YouTube side. Who was out watching today? We had, and also AWAG 1000 was with us. Thank you, AWAG, for joining us. You had stuff to do. You had a busy day today. I appreciate you coming out here and being honest with us and pointing out some things maybe we didn't know about some companies that we really do like, right? So 500 mags out there. Early watch chats watching today. Thank you, Defense Dads in the house. Sam of Anarchy 92, the Black Bear Forge watching. A lot of cool people out there today. The Shootist was out there. Squib Load, Squib Lift. Squib Industries was out there today too. Patriot in the Dark. Tommy Gun in the house. Ozzy Orsborn watching it. Glocktard's out there too. Scott 79. Hillbilly Up. DKTK in the house. Let's see. Lots of people out there watching today. There was some tacos and French fries earlier. M. Gabriel was one of the first people to chime in, by the way. The Shootist was out there. Bald and Curious was watching today too. Yeah, a lot of good people. John Z, MOEDC's in the house. Tony York watching today. Tony, we miss having you on the panel, buddy. Anytime you want to join in, brother, you always got that invite coming your way, man. Watt 75, Savage Lee in the house. Tara Smith's Kitchen, keeping it real as always. Make sure you get over there. Subscribe to Tara Smith's Kitchen. YNH with us, chilling out today too. I think that's about it. Kingpin's with us, joining in. Roll Call 219 watching with us. Armed Rebellion 47. Yeah, a lot of good people out there, everyone. All right, so we're going to go ahead and call it an episode. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be back next Saturday or Sunday, one of the two, whatever day I'm not going to be busy. We'll have another episode. We'll do episode number 249, season 5. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have yourselves a great weekend. Please be safe. Get out there, go do some shooting. Have fun. Be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. So goodbye. Take care.
Bye, Alicia.